Let's head back to St Andrews next then and join Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, who's alongside Talksport's Jim Proudfoot as kickoff approaches. I just firstly, Jim, want to ask, what is the atmosphere like there? What are you seeing from the fans?
It's absolutely stunning. And going back to the point that you were making about the fans and the owners, there's a really good symbiosis between the pair of them. I think that, every fan would say that their club is unique and different. I think this one is more unique than most. I think it's probably harder to get your head around what Birmingham City is if you're someone that hasn't been entrenched in it from childhood. But the fans certainly think that the owners have got their heads around exactly what the challenges are here. And the atmosphere is very, very special indeed. That's not just down to Blues fans, Wrexham fans, the travelling support, and they've travelled in their numbers more than making a part in that. And if this was Birmingham against nearly everybody in League One, it wouldn't be the special occasion it is. So it's not a one-way story, but this is special.
Yeah, just to underline it, we've just seen some pictures of a very special table up in hospitality. Tom Brady, David Beckham, Gary Neville and Gary Cook, the CEO of Birmingham City, of course, used to run Manchester City. And it's been interesting, Courtney, to hear the comparisons with Birmingham City and Manchester City in the build-up to this. Gary Cook's been talking about, what went into making Manchester City such a successful football club. And it's a lot like Jim just mentioned. They wanted to have a real impact in the community. Tom Wagner's been talking about that as well. All the infrastructure is not just around, the training ground and the football stadium itself. He has big plans for Birmingham as a city. How important do you think that is in terms of the journey that the Blues might be on?
It's absolutely huge. I'm from Leicester, so I can see that from a Leicester perspective and what they did when they came in. And as you say, it wasn't just about the football, it wasn't just about necessarily the infrastructure of the football club, but what they did in the hospitals and everything around the city, and did everything they could to ingratiate themselves with the people. And that's what they're doing here at Birmingham. Now, that's what they did at Manchester City with the CFA and everything in terms of the infrastructure there. So I think it's very important, and this is what football clubs are. The heart of any football club is its community, the place it is, the people that make it. So for me, it's the quickest way to get fans on side, and I'm not saying they did that to get the fans on side, but it's certainly the best way to have that relationship, and as Jim said, that symbiosis between each other, because then it feels like they're not just here to come and buy a football club and that's it, and it be a little play toy. This is something that means something to them and something to the city, and they've certainly shown that in spades so far.
Jim, listen, we've eulogised about the ownership group there at Birmingham just a little bit, just to add some balance to it. There are some who might see it, in the cold light of day, a lot like a lot of football owners. They're there to make money. They're there to see Birmingham City fly up the leagues because they believe that there's going to be something that comes back to them. Now, in particular, when it comes to the development of the city, we think that Tom Wagner might be making his investment because he believes that Birmingham is going to grow and develop. We spoke about Manchester City. They've done so much in the city, in the area around Eastlands to improve in terms of housing, in terms of public service infrastructure. Could Tom Wagner bring that to Birmingham? And what would it mean for a city like Birmingham, do you think?
Well, Birmingham is the youngest major city in Europe. It's one of the most diverse major cities in Europe, and it's also a city that will be looked at by the likes of Tom Wagner as somewhere that can be probably more easily developed and improved than others. They're going to move from here. They're going to move down to what Brummies will know as the old Wheels track, which is out on the road to the airport, the Coventry Road, from here about a mile and a half, back down towards Small Heath, which is where this club was originally from when it played at Monk Street. And they will have a 60,000 seat stadium. They will be able to hold concerts. They fully intend for it to be one of the biggest and best venues in England. They want it to be the best venue in England outside of London. And they want it to be one of the biggest venues in Europe as well. Now, that isn't just largesse. Of course they want to make money out of it. But if Birmingham City is the vehicle that can be used for the right reasons to enable Tom Wagner and everybody else to make that money, I don't think Blues fans will have a problem with it. They've had a couple of rotten pairs of owners here. Tom Wagner is, whatever happens, he's not going to be remembered like that.
Exactly. Let's turn our attention to the game. We've seen flames and fireworks into the air at St Andrews as the players make their way out. Courtney, this first 45 minutes, we could see fireworks, couldn't we? What are we expecting?
Well, I think we're going to see goals. I think you see Wrexham in terms of the goals they're scoring. They keep it a little bit tighter at the back. Now, in terms of clean sheets for Birmingham, it's been a bit harder to come by. So hopefully this game lives up to the billing and everything around it, and we get as much fireworks on the pitch as we just have off it.
Absolutely fantastic. St Andrews is a picture tonight. The new owners wanted to see sellout crowds, massive global audiences watching the Blues. I bet they didn't think it was going to come in League One. 31,000 fans in the third tier of English football. How magic is the EFL? Two clubs who could have been completely bust not too long ago now have very lofty ambition for the coming seasons. They're going to be desperate to take a big step up towards the Championship next season. Somehow, it's a glamour fixture. It's Birmingham City versus Wrexham, live and exclusive to national radio on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2, with the former Liverpool and Sheffield United striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk and Talksport's Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Hugh, and a very good evening to you from a match that has taken on an almost surreal nature when viewed through the context of the history of both third division football and the clubs themselves. It's been billed as a Hollywood derby. One fellow League One managers likened it to Real Madrid against the Harlem Globetrotters. One of the most successful sportsmen of all time's flown the red eye from Dallas to make it. And with David Beckham in attendance, Rob McElhenney might only be the third most famous person here. The hype will tell you it's a match that's captivated the American market as well as fascinated fans here. And if you're from Birmingham or Wrexham, for now at least, it is the be-all and end-all. The biggest spenders League One's ever seen against the league leaders. Two of the top three in the betting for the divisional title, both staking their unbeaten league records. Even in September, it's easy to see the potential ramifications for May. Blues line up with Peacock Farrell in goal, Gardner, Hickman, Clara, Bielik and Cochrane, Pagan, Iwata, Stansfield, Willemsen and Hansen, and May. Okonkwo in goal for Wrexham. Back five of Barnett, Cleworth, O'Connell, O'Connor and McLean. Rathbone, Dobson and Lee in midfield. And Palmer alongside Marriott up front. You know, 14 years ago there were 94 places and 4 divisions between Birmingham and Wrexham. One enjoying Premier League success, the other languishing in non-league. How times have changed. Their paths have converged. Meeting tonight under the gaze of sporting legends and Hollywood A-listers. This is League One like never before. And we're underway. Birmingham blue shirts, white shorts, and kicking from left to right in this first half. Wrexham red shirts and white shorts, and defending the railway end away to our right-hand side. Attacking the Tilton, away to our left. The ball out of play for an early throw the Blues will take, and I'm delighted to say that alongside me here on Talksport 2 tonight is Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Well, what an atmosphere this is. You say League One, and you've got to drink it in to see this come here as a neutral. It's absolutely incredible, but both of these sets of fans have been brilliant already.
Blues playing out from the back on the edge of their own penalty area, and a strong challenge coming in. Referee Oldham letting that one go. Wrexham in possession with James McLean, who plays it back for O'Connor. Connor switching it from the left of the three centre-halves over to the right. Cleworth will launch it forward. It's going to be chased by Palmer. And Cochrane, one of many summer signings in the Birmingham City ranks, can just watch that one out of play down by his own corner flag for a throw that will be taken on the far touchline by Birmingham City. 3 wins in a row in the league for Blues, 4 wins in a row for Wrexham. In fact, Wrexham have only lost 15 of their last 105 games in all competitions, and defensively they've been very sound this season. And they've had the better of the start as well, with most of the game being played in Birmingham territory. Blonde-haired Cochrane is there to try and knock the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area once more. Slight mistake by Bielik, and a chance for Wrexham now to launch a long throw inside the penalty area down from the corner flag.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what separates the two teams at the moment in terms of that defensive stoicness from Wrexham, but we know Birmingham play in a different way early on in terms of Chris Davies' tenure as well. So playing out from the back, they will get better, but early on they are going to make mistakes.
And the first corner of the night goes Wrexham's way. Well won by Jack Marriott, who scored on his last visit here to St Andrews with Peterborough a couple of seasons ago. O'Connor's going to go and cross to take that. Former Southampton trainee who's got a really good left foot. Here's the cue for Cleworth, who's pretty useful attacking these set pieces, to make his way forward. It's Cochrane that's keeping an eye on him. That's a real mismatch in terms of height. Cleworth much the taller, and he spins around the back with an in-swinging delivery. It was very difficult, and he's volleyed into the net via deflection by Marriott. Perfect start for Wrexham. It's taken them barely 3 minutes. First set piece, not cleared properly. Marriott through a crowd scene, via deflection, and it's 1-0 Wrexham.
They do so well, Wrexham, to keep this ball alive, and that's the important thing. Dangerous in that box. They've got some big hitters, and Cleworth's the one that you mentioned they normally aim for, and on the second phase there, it's all about Marriott just wanting to get to the ball first, and then he doesn't panic. He gets his knee and his hip over the ball, hits the ball into the ground. It may be a bit fortunate the way that it beats Peacock Farrell, but it's a fantastic start from Wrexham.
Third successive game in which Jack Marriott has scored, and when you've gone more than 6 hours without conceding a goal in the league, you'd really back your chances to be able to protect the early lead. The Wrexham fans away to our right-hand side and the left-hand half of the railway end going absolutely mad with delight. Perfect start for them. Blues yet to get going, and Wrexham leading 1-0. Gardner-Hickman chasing a long ball that's played forward, just brushed off the top of his head, and goes out of play for a goal kick that Okonkwo will take. And we were speculating before the game, Courtney, about what one of the keys would be tonight. It was the ability to settle. It was something that everybody thought would be important, and it's clearly Wrexham that have settled the better here.
Yeah, it is. They've done well. As I mentioned, the atmosphere before the game was absolutely electric, and rightly so. Both sets of fans are looking forward to this, but you're right. And Wrexham were clever. They've just stuck it on Birmingham from minute one, just tried to play for territory in their area, get a corner from it from out of nothing, really. Wasn't a necessarily amazing passage of play, but they've made it count.
Now Barnett's play the ball forward here. Marriott is offside. There's a real difference in the style of the two teams, and that can be seen through the possession that they've had so far. Blues nearly 70% through the opening 4 games. Wrexham barely 40 through their opening 5 games, and yet they find themselves top of the league and 3 points clear of Birmingham, who do have a game in hand, 6 points clear as things stand right now. But Wrexham just happy to surrender possession, but will do everything they can to play in opposition territory, and we've seen the opening 5 minutes have borne that out. Birmingham trying to get the ball forward here towards Cochrane. Cleworth defending on the edge of his own penalty area, hooks it away with the aid of Ryan Barnett. The ball goes out to the Birmingham left-hand side, where Alfie May will chase. Stansfield actually playing through the middle, pretty much for Blues in the early stages, and May playing off him rather than playing as the focal point of the attack. And Willemsen, although he's playing pretty narrow, is the Birmingham midfielder who's charged with moving out towards the right-hand side. They will get Gardner-Hickman forward at every possibility from right back as an attacking wing-back almost.
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll try and do, and nullify McLean as well, because he loves to get forward from that wing-back area. Watch the Shrewsbury games, Shrewsbury Wrexham, and they were brilliant, especially down that left-hand side with McLean bombing on. So if, as you say, Gardner-Hickman can then almost play that role to get forward, add to the attack for Birmingham, but also nullify that threat from McLean of Wrexham, then it will certainly help, and it's a dual role.
A Pate playing the ball forward, but not to good effect. Wrexham win it back, get it out towards McLean. Elliot Lee will take over on the Wrexham left. They lead, courtesy of Marriott's 3rd minute goal here at St Andrews. O'Connor back for O'Connell. And the Irishman goes to his right-hand side for Max Cleworth, who's already got a couple of goals to his name this season. Played forward long, but just punted past Palmer and through for Bailey Peacock Farrell, the Northern Ireland international, in goal for Birmingham City. Played out from the back by Blues to Cochrane. Now to Bielik, to Clara. And down from the Austrian towards Gardner-Hickman on this near touchline, who's former West Brom trainee, arrived on loan from Bristol City during the transfer window. Back for Peacock Farrell again. And it is almost a back three when Cochrane will just drop in and Gardner-Hickman gets some more opportunities to push forward when the Blues have it. Played by him now down towards Paik. Going off the left-hand side midfield, Iwata showing for the ball as well. Cochrane with a crossfield pass, picking out the blonde-haired Clara. Down towards the near touchline for Gardner-Hickman, who controls it and lays it back again. Birmingham inside Wrexham territory. Trailing 1-0 here on Talksport 2. And then Willemsen can't keep the ball in under duress from McLean. And it's gone out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Wrexham left-hand side.
Well, that change in shape or adaptation in and out of possession certainly shows the way that Birmingham are playing with more fluidity. In my opinion, play with more fluidity than Wrexham. Wrexham are more about sticking in that shape. Yes, there's a change in that going forward, but certainly defensively, Wrexham just look to stay in that 5. They'll bomb the wing backs on. It's very traditional in the way they do it in that 5. But Birmingham coming into the game now, moving the ball and making it more difficult for Wrexham.
They're determined to be able to play out from the back. Apologies for any industrial language that you heard, which was a reference to a very brisk bouncing back pass which Peacock Farrell was able to deal with. Birmingham will play out now down the right hand side. It's Birmingham 0, Wrexham 1 here with Jack Marriott's 3rd minute goal, the difference between the two teams. Iwata rolling into the feet on the edge of the penalty area. May looking for Stansfield, knocked away easily, brought under control by the goal scorer Marriott, but Iwata was there to win it back. Willemsen poking it through. Stansfield unlikely to get there, a Conquo. That's raced out of his 6-yard box. Good anticipation and clean handling as well. And he'll just wait for his players to push upfield before launching it long.
Yeah, he reads the game well. Okonkwo from Arsenal. You see there, he's got his depth perception right. He can see the ball coming through, quick off his line on the front foot, and then brave to dive at the feet just to give Wrexham a little bit of time to recoup, because that last few minutes, Birmingham putting them all under all sorts of pressure, and they're dropped back too far back, in my opinion. Instead of being in a sort of a mid-block that they like to be, they've gone right into a deep block and was just inviting a lot of pressure.
Well, they'll restart with the goal kick, which will be taken to our left-hand side, not by Peacock Farrell, but by Bielik, Polish international. They just gave it a little tap, and then Peacock Farrell drives one long through the middle. Stansfield chasing after that. It was unexpected, that direct ball into the heart of the Wrexham back line. O'Connell did well to deal with it and get it away. Birmingham get a throw, a play by Stansfield, at least that was his intention. Just lost his footing. His trailing leg went from underneath him as he tried to hit the ball forward on the turn, and it's gone out for a throw that will be taken on the Wrexham left-hand side by O'Connor. This is only the 3rd season in history that these two clubs have actually been in the same division. The last happened at this level some 30 years ago. Wrexham won a 5th round FA Cup tie here since then, back in 1997. They also won the home league game between the two in the late 70s with a goal from Dixie McNeil, but those are the only victories that they've ever had against Birmingham. They're in possession now. They lead this one with O'Connell playing it forward through the midfield. Dobson controlling it, hitting it first time out towards the right hand side for Barnett. He's got Rathbone in support, making a run outside him. Rathbone will deliver first time inside the area. Just searching ball in. Attacked by Palmer. And it's taken a touch on his way through. Off a Wrexham player, actually. He's gone out for a goal kick, which will be taken by Peacock Farrell. But that was another example of Wrexham mixing it up, going long pretty quickly. A good run on the overlap from Rathbone, and not a bad delivery at all. Yeah,
it wasn't. And the initial one from Dobson as well. Been fantastic ball out. And, you know, for him this season in League One, we think about him defensively is right at the top of the table in terms of the defensive stats for Wrexham, in terms of the tackles, the touches, possession won back, but there you're seeing his quality on the ball as well when he sprays that ball out to the right-hand side.
Gardner-Hickman chasing a lost cause down the Birmingham right, knew that the ball ultimately was going to go out of play for a throw on the Wrexham left. And the atmosphere's just become a little bit muted after the exuberance and excitement of the start here, and the crowd building up around these parts for 2 or 3 hours before kickoff. But Wrexham doing a number on Birmingham up to this point, leading 1-0. Paik playing the ball back, and Bielik goes out towards Cochrane. Coming in off the left flank is Hansen. Hansen down towards Clara. Birmingham seeing more possession in Wrexham territory now. Gardner-Hickman, yard in from the right-hand side, fires in across, it's hit McLean, and that's going to bounce out of play for Birmingham's first corner of the night. Here's Courtney Sweetman-Kerr.
Yeah, and I like that again from Gardner-Hickman. He's just going really wide, hugging the touchline, making McLean make a decision. The only issue with it in terms of is at risk and reward, isn't it? When you flood that many bodies forward, we know that Wrexham can mix it up, they can go direct, so they've just got to make sure, Birmingham City, that they've got the right balance.
Cochrane's going to take this corner. The former Hearts man has got a really good left-footed delivery. Nobody there to attack the near post at the moment. Iwata and May now make runs in there. He's played in and fired wide, and only just wide by Paik. Really well worked. May making a darting near post run, and he cushioned the ball into the path of Paik, who was running onto it 15 yards out. And he's fired about a foot wide of the near post. And
it's such a shame because I think Paik there, he's just got to focus on hitting the target, especially with the amount of bodies in front of him. Could ricochet, go absolutely anywhere, potentially go in the back of the net, but it's one of those, once you use it up a set piece like that, Alfie May coming from back to front, that's it, you've used it up, and Wrexham will be wise to it now, but it's a shame because it was a well-worked set piece.
Wrexham scored from their first set piece. Birmingham arguably should have come closer from their first. Cochrane making a good run down the left now, but that's cut out by Cleworth. And it'll be played up the right-hand touchline here by Wrexham. Marriott giving chase. Clara there first. Player has got plenty of experience. He was playing in the Bundesliga last season, and now finding himself in the third tier of English football after a £3.5 million move from Darmstadt. He was settled in well. Gardner-Hickman back for Paik. Stansfield will chase, but was always second favourite. O'Connell knocks it away. O'Connor helping it into the midfield, into the path of Dobson. O'Connor getting it back again and then feeding Dobson where he has time to take the ball on the turn and just invite Cleworth forward, and he will make his way into Birmingham City territory. Wrexham leading by a goal to nil as they look for a fifth straight win. It'll be their fourth straight league win. They haven't won 4 league games in a row at this level since March 2001, which puts just a little bit of context to the start that they've made to this season. Lee's done well, finds McLean. Play forward down the left-hand touchline. Ollie Palmer chasing after it, able to keep it in. Checks back inside, getting away from Clara. Lee working it across the edge of the penalty area. Rathbone coming onto it. Barnett always pushing forward down that right-hand side of the penalty area for Wrexham. Gets it inside the box. Cochrane off balance, able to get it away. May then juggling on the edge of his own penalty area. Worked it back inside the box and calmly found his goalkeeper. And Peacock Farrell is able to get it away towards halfway. Almost inevitably comes back. A little bit of fight ball in the midfield before eventually Dobson gets his foot on it and he goes back to his goalkeeper. 1-0 Wrexham.
Yeah, and he did really well there, Alfie May, on the edge of his own box. He was under pressure by Dobson, charging in, trying to keep the ball alive for Wrexham. This is where Wrexham, they just need to try and take a little bit of control when they do get the ball. Possession stats, well, not in their favour. 70% I think Birmingham have had so far, so when they do get it, they need to release the pressure a little bit.
70% of the possession as near as makes no difference, but one off-target shot, and that's the bottom line for Chris Davies' men so far. Phil Parkinson's Wrexham leading, having had the only shot on target so far. Lee's got a throw, despite O'Connor's best attempts to keep the ball in. It would take a 3-goal win for Birmingham tonight to go back to the top of the table. In fact, they'd be joint level at the top with Wrexham if they won by 3. If they win by 4, they will go clear at the top on goal difference. They'd have an identical record to Wrexham if they won this 4-1, for instance, from here. Wrexham leading by a goal to nil will be 3 points clear of the field if it stays this way, and 6 ahead of Birmingham, albeit the Blues would have a game in hand. Their last match postponed because of international call-ups. Another aimless ball forward and goes through for Peacock Farrell.
It's interesting, isn't it, with this part of the season? We're looking at this at not necessarily a must-win game, but you're looking at that, then Birmingham potentially 6 points adrift, and what does that do to them? Look, there's a long way to go. I don't overly subscribe to that, but I do think that it's been something that's been in the conversation. It's not necessarily what this game means to the points tally, but also mentally, what does it do to the loser of this game?
Well, and the psychological impact I think it would have, particularly for Wrexham, if they, as a newly promoted team, were to win away against the side that has spent more money than ever before in a single transfer window at this level.
Yeah, certainly, and they'll be keeping that unbeaten run going. Before this game, it was only themselves, Birmingham and Stockport, unbeaten. So again, for that momentum, that confidence within the changing room, so important.
Clara, Gardner-Hickman, yarding from the right-hand touchline, checks and plays it back for Clara again. And then Iwata. Wrexham knock it away, and after a touch from Willemsen, it's gone out for a throw that'll be taken on the Wrexham left, and Willemsen just looks and has his hands outstretched, not happy with the quality of service that he received there from Gardner-Hickman, and the two continue their debate from about 20 yards away. There will be a Wrexham throw midway inside their own half.
Just so compact though, isn't it? That's what Wrexham are doing when they're dropping into that block. They're making sure there's no space in between the lines, and I think this is probably what Birmingham City are going to have to deal with for the majority of this season. To an extent, every team is going to come here and try and put the block on and try and make it difficult for this side, so they've got to find a way to try and break down teams that are going to do this to them.
Stansfield doing his best to put pressure on O'Connell on the far side. He did really well to withstand that pressure. Plays it out of the box to Dobson. Dobson working it back. O'Connor turning it through the midfield. An opportunity for Elliot Lee to turn, although Iwata actually prevented that. And so Lee was forced to go back to his centre halves. Cleworth will launch it forward 30 yards. Cochrane returns it along the deck. Birmingham losing possession in midfield. Stansfield struggling to make a major impact in these early stages. We've played 18 minutes. Wrexham leading, as they've done since the 3rd minute when Jack Marriott scored from Wrexham's only attacking set piece of the day. McLean launching it for Palmer down the left-hand side. He's going to be able to get there ahead of Clara. He's got movement inside the penalty area. Clara stopped the cross. It comes back out for McLean. McLean, the veteran, trying to get a cross in. That one effectively blocked as well. Gardner-Hickman and Willemsen should be able to get it away from Birmingham in their right back position. They'll calmly work it back inside the box for Clara. He'll find Bielik, and now they'll bring it out from the back, Birmingham. Into the feet of Hansen, who signed in a £1.5 million deal from Dutch football, where he's played nearly 100 games in the top flight. Gardner-Hickman now, right-footed ball inside the penalty area, ended away before it got to Stansfield. Willemsen winning the seconds, trying to bring the ball down. It's poked clear. Comes out towards Clara. Clara to his left-hand side for Paik. And Paik Sung-ho plays it to his left for Hansen. The diminutive Swede out towards Cochrane. Too much on that cross. And it's drifted past everybody innocuously, out of play for a goal kick that Okonkwo will take, and Wrexham still good value for this 1-0 lead.
Yeah, they are. They're making it difficult, and there when Willemsen had it on the edge of the box, and similar to that goal against Wickham, I didn't know whether he'd be able to get a quick shot off on the half volley. What a wonderful finish that was from him, but just didn't sit down from him quick enough.
Must mention, incidentally, the sad news in the city today of the confirmation of the passing of Gary Shaw. Obviously from the other part of town to here, but so many Blue Noses talking outside the ground about the tragic loss of Gary Shaw at the terribly young age of just 63. Certainly for anybody who was brought up in the city of my vintage, when he was, as a very young man, making his way, burst onto the scene in that successful Villa side that won the league and the European Cup. A fine player and a good man as well, and our thoughts with Gary's family and friends tonight. And Willemsen's got possession, and they'll lay back for Paik. Paik down to the right-hand side for Birmingham for Clara. Clara to Gardner-Hickman. Left-footed ball inside the penalty area. It's laid off Willemsen, having his shirt pulled on the edge of the area. Sets it up for a right-footed shot, and on the follow-up, Stansfield puts it in. 1-1. Birmingham's first real meaningful attack of the game. Jay Stansfield running onto it, showing predatory instinct. Excellent first shot, blocked and saved, but it came out for the £15 million man. And there is the first instalment repaid. 1-1.
Well, it might be a tap-in, but this is an important goal. Okonkwo, I've praised him, I've said how good he's been. 4 clean sheets, but for me, he has to do better with this shot. Initially, by the way, it's a great touch by Stansfield, the way that he just touches it with the outside of his foot. Birmingham City play it round the box, but this is what the best strikers do. They keep themselves alive in the box, and when the shot is parried not far enough away by Okonkwo, in my opinion, he is there in the right place, in the right time to tuck it in. And for all the pressure that Birmingham City have put on, they do deserve that goal.
So just before the midway stage of the first half, game on again. Wrexham's lead lasted nearly 20 minutes. Stansfield makes it 1-1. And St Andrews has just a little bit of belief again. And we welcome listeners on Talksport with the news that a game of huge magnitude has lived up to the billing in the early stages. It's 1-1 as we get to the midway stage of this first half. Jack Marriott firing through a crowd from Wrexham's first corner of the game. And Jay Stansfield, who'd struggled to really make too much of an impact in the opening 20 minutes, but showed great predatory instinct after Okonkwo saved Birmingham's first shot on target at the other end. And Stansfield was there to poke it in to make it 1-1 and reignite the noise around St Andrews. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, the former Liverpool striker, is alongside me. Courtney, what have you made of the first quarter of the game?
Well, I've been impressed with both teams in terms of the tempo that they started the game with. You mentioned that goal from Wrexham. They took advantage of the set piece, but it's been all about Birmingham in possession. And until then, though, really, they didn't put that pressure into anything in terms of that fruition in front of goal. But that, for me, you mentioned Stansfield, yes, he's not really been in the game, but this is what the best forwards do. They don't let things bother them. Just because he's not been in the game, it doesn't mean he's not switched on. I think when the shot comes in, Okonkwo, he has to do better. He has to parry it out to the side. He doesn't, but the fact that Jay Stansfield is on his toes, is anticipating the shot, is anticipating that the save might fall to him. And it's still difficult. Yes, it's a tap-in, but the pressure of it, how quickly it comes to him, just finds the target. It's an important goal. In this game, we've got a big one on our hands. It's game on.
He's the first goal that Wrexham have conceded in the league for 383 minutes. Live commentary continues on Talksport 2. You got the Talksport app. It's easy to swipe left and swipe right between Talksport and Talksport 2. And here at St Andrews, with 25 gone, Birmingham 1, Wrexham 1. And Cochrane finds Hansen, and Blues can bring it forward. Stansfield trying to turn, and eventually comes off O'Connell and goes out of play. And Stansfield's got one goal this season, and it was here, and it was against Birmingham for Fulham. But the man that was Blues Player of the Year last year with 13 goals has scored his first of this permanent spell. 1-1 the scoreline. Clara going square to his left-hand side for Bielik. It means that Wrexham currently a point clear at the top of the table. And Birmingham would move up to 5th. Hansen, left-hand side of the penalty area. Cochrane fires it in, looking for Willemsen. Headed away. Iwata urged to shoot. Gone back for Cochrane instead. Left-footed cross from him. Blocked. And he comes off Rathbone, goes down towards the corner flag, but well cleared by Barnett. And it'll go out of play for a throw over on the far touchline, the Birmingham City left-hand side. The goal has really lifted the crowd. It's visibly lifted the Birmingham players as well.
Yeah, and I think Wrexham could be in big trouble here because they've got the early goal, which is fantastic. They've got their noses in front, but I don't think they've really tried to push on too much. It's also credit to Birmingham in the fact that they've gained some control in the game. We always knew that they were going to have more possession, but Wrexham don't look any threat going forward right now, and that could spell big trouble for them.
Cochrane plays it to Hansen. Cochrane's left-footed ball inside the penalty area. When he gets the return, he's blocked by Rathbone. Wrexham having to do a lot of defending now. It's taken Birmingham a little bit of time to get a foothold in this game. But the equaliser came after a decent 4 or 5 minute spell. And they have now started asking some really decent questions. They've also just conceded a foul throw. From a throw taken over on that far touchline. Is the referee giving a foul throw, or is he seeing something else? And it's going to be a free kick to Wrexham just outside their own penalty area. 26 gone. More live action for you tomorrow. 3 live games for you on the network tomorrow. Villa, first Champions League tie, and they're first in Europe's Premier Cup competition for more than 40 years. They're away to Young Boys. It's on Talksport 2, 5:45. I beg your pardon. 5:45. That kicks off. Young Boys against Aston Villa. Joe Shannon and Andy Townsend, Villa legend, talking through the action there. That'll be followed by Man United Barnsley from the Carabao Cup third round at 8 o'clock here on Talksport 2. And over on Talksport, It's Liverpool away to AC Milan in their first game in this Rejig Champions League format. That kicks off at 8 on Talksport tomorrow. Birmingham bringing it forward. It's a good ball by Iwata. Stansfield. May couldn't get there. It'll be cleared out towards Hansen. His cross is blocked. And he goes out for another Birmingham City corner. 1-1 here on Talksport 2.
Brilliant from Stansfield. Again, the way that he comes off O'Connell, wins that battle, makes sure he gets his body between a defender and the ball, and then they can carry on the play, Birmingham City, down that left-hand side. And at the minute, Wrexham really do look at 6s and 7s.
So a corner that'll be taken on the Birmingham left this time. Between the old Cop and the railway end. In swinging delivery, headed away well by Palmer on the edge of his own 6-yard box. Helped on, and then Gardner-Hickman arching the back, tried the spectacular, fired it straight into the Wrexham fans about 10 or 12 rows back. And out of play for a goal kick that Okonkwo will take. 1-1.
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult, that one. It was rising, had a bit of spin on it. So to try and get your hip and your knee over that, keep it on target with multiple bodies in front of you, it was always high tariff. He would have been better served, I think, trying to keep the ball and recycle it.
Okonkwo, just with a stuttering run-up, addresses the ball and smacks it forward, right-footed, this goal kick, which is headed on firstly by Lee, then by Marriott, smuggled back to Peacock Farrell, and Birmingham will get it away. It's a nice turn by Paik, but he actually turned into trouble. Bielik comes across and remedies the situation for Birmingham and wins the throw by flicking the ball off Barnett. The throw that will be taken on the Birmingham left. They drew with Reading on the opening day. They've won all 3 league games since then. Mind you, they had 10 points after the first 4 games last season and went down. So nobody's taking anything for granted as yet. The ball played forward by Cleworth for Wrexham. O'Connell. Back to his goalkeeper, Okonkwo, who is debating at the moment whether to declare his international future to Nigeria or to England. He has played age group football for the English national side. Birmingham will bring it forward again. 1-1 the score. Back from Gardner-Hickman. To Clara. Clara to Bielik. Bielik out to Alex Cochrane. Cochrane to his left. Another opportunity for Hansen to try and bring the ball forward. Birmingham retaining possession. Go back inside the centre circle again. The Blues with all of the ball now. And so much of the possession in Wrexham territory. Gardner-Hickman just trying to spear one over the top for Willemsen's run, but that's easily watched over the line by O'Connor. And out of play for another Wrexham goal kick.
And it's so superior in every way, Birmingham City at the moment, to Wrexham in terms of the possession, the accuracy of the passing, the willingness to get forward, and you just wonder how Wrexham find the way back into this game. Gardner-Hickman getting forward, we looked at that, didn't we, before the game, and the way he's doing that, it really is nullifying that threat of McLean down the left-hand side. He doesn't want to get forward because he knows it's going to leave them wide open.
McLean just flicking the ball down, but it was well won back by Alfie May. And then Iwata ducked his head in, Paik, I beg your pardon, ducked his head in very bravely as it bounced awkwardly on halfway. And he looked second favourite, but won it. Now Birmingham recycling and go back to the goalkeeper, Bailey Peacock Farrell, the former Burnley man. Now played forward by Clara. Gardner-Hickman gets it back to him. And Clara with a little 1-2 with Iwata. And now Cochrane brings it forward. Cochrane out to his left-hand side for Hansen. May riding a couple of challenges, bringing it forward. Hansen outside him, and he's smuggled it out there. Right-footed delivery in towards the near post. Willemsen attacking that. Easily cleared in the end by O'Connor. It was good defending. He had a bit of ground to cover to come in from the left of the 3 centre-halves and track Willemsen's run. Birmingham have a throw. They've taken it quickly. Phil Parkinson in just a little bit of conversation down on the edge of the technical area with the Wrexham coaching staff about how things might change, because Wrexham have been second best over the last 10-12 minutes or so. Stansfield sticks his foot in, wins it back from Dobson in the midfield, and then is played in again. Dobson laying it back. Paik can bring it forward. The South Korean to his left-hand side. Shot from distance, comfortably saved. May rifling it in from 30 yards. And Okonkwo got his hands down and made a comfortable stop.
Well, you can't blame Alfie May from what we've seen in the way that Okonkwo didn't deal with the shot that led to the goal well enough, so it opens itself up for May. But Jay Stansfield, we mentioned previous to the goal, didn't really have much of an involvement in the game, but now everything that seems to be good about Birmingham City is going through him. The way he's coming off the defenders, linking the play, running in behind. You really see he's got the bit between his teeth.
And the formation might have just taken a little bit of adjusting to. It's not something the Blues have really done so far this season, but it is a back three when they're in possession with Gardner Hickman pushing forward. It sort of becomes 3-4-2-1, but back four when they haven't got it, and they haven't got it now. And maybe a little bit fortunate as Palmer thought he dispossessed Clara cleanly inside the Birmingham penalty area, but referee Scott Oldham saw a foul, and it's a free kick to Birmingham.
Yeah, and you're looking at this right now, and you feel that the only way that Wrexham are going to score as it stands playing this way is from a Birmingham City mistake there. They've not got enough aggression for me in the game. They're not trying to win it back in the right areas. They're too low in this block, and when they do win it back, in terms of the accuracy of the passing and the possession, just not good enough.
Paik out of the left, a chance for Hansen, who's got a decent turn of pace. He makes his way forward, but it was well blocked by Rathbone. Little double ricochets come back off Hansen and goes out for a goal kick that Arthur Okonkwo will take. This Wrexham's 43rd successive season outside the top two divisions. Last in what is now the Championship back in the very early 1980s. Side with the likes of Joey Jones in it, who people my age will remember. Well, it's only going to be 43 seasons before they're back in that level. Ball play forward towards McLean. And has he won a throw? No, he hasn't. It's taken the last touch off him. And Birmingham will take a throw level with the edge of their own penalty area. 1-1 here on Talksport 2, and just after the high tempo stuff we saw, just a little bit of a lull over the last couple of minutes. Both sides sort of having a collective breather.
Yeah, that was better from Wrexham though, the way that McLean initially just started a lot higher and pushed Gardner Hickman back. But you're right, but that's clever game management. In terms of tempo, you can't play at that high intensity for 90 minutes, and this is where Birmingham City then with the ball can control the game in their favour.
Lovely ball by Gardner Hickman, May helping it on. Stansfield couldn't get a first time shot in. Comes back out for Gardner Hickman again. Very versatile plays. Played in central midfield and right back in his short time at Blues. Ball inside the penalty area is headed away. Cleared out for Paik. Paik to Iwata. And the Japanese international takes a touch. Saw that Marriott was coming back. Palmer, I beg your pardon. And just works it out towards Hansen. And now back from Cochrane to Iwata to Bielik. Clara, Gardner Hickman, Clara back for Bielik again. Bielik, when he picked up possession, the deepest of Birmingham's outfield players, and he was 10 yards between the centre circle and the Wrexham penalty area. Now the ball goes out for Hansen once more. Right-footed, clipped in off the top of Rathbone's head. Awkward one for Dobson to deal with. He got his head to it. Still not cleared effectively by Wrexham. Brought back under control. Played by Paik. Down to the right-hand side of the midfield. Gardner Hickman with a great turn, but a decent sliding change from McLean gets it away. Iwata recycles it. Paik. Willemsen with a little layoff around the edge of the area. May is buzzing around. Clara, right-footed, rifles one in. Very optimistic attempt. Hits McLean, and then Clara has cynically pulled him back. He's denied Wrexham the opportunity on the counter-attack. And McLean had just got between the ball and Clara as he was chasing towards the halfway line. And Clara taking no chances, put his hands on McLean's shoulders and wrestled him to the ground. Yellow card.
Yeah, definition of taking one for the team, because you see Wrexham are flooding bodies forward, trying to plan the counter-attack with McLean, and we know he's got that ability with the ball at his feet, and Clara just taking no chances, almost asked for a piggyback off McLean.
He's the first player to get a yellow card today. It's his second caution of the season. 1-1 the score. Marriott on 3 minutes for Wrexham. Stansfield on 22, equalising for Birmingham. And they've got possession again, as they've had for the vast majority of the night. It is about 75-25, the possession in Birmingham's favour at the moment. Clara. Just trying to tease one over the top for Stansfield. He got the trajectory right, but he hit it far too hard. And Stansfield just turns and indicates to Clara with a movement of the right hand, exactly the angle that he should have played that at. And it's gone over the dead ball line and out of play for a goal kick. Okonkwo in no real hurry to take these, as is his right. Till he gets the hurry up from the referee, you'd want your goalkeeper doing exactly that. And he's got it now. He drives it right-footed. Forward over halfway. It's going to go towards the halfway line, and then he's headed on, but straight out for a throw that will be taken on the Birmingham left. What does Phil Parkinson need to do to get Wrexham more of a foothold in this game? You talked about the fact you think that they're defending a little bit too compact and too deep, but what do they need to do more when they got the ball?
Yeah, I agree in terms of being too deep for sure, because when they do win the ball back, they're so far away from the Birmingham City goal. It's incredible. But in terms of them when they're in possession, I think they're trying to be too direct too quickly at times. They're trying to go forward, as I say, they're too far away from the goal because they're that compact. They can't get enough players up the pitch, so they just need to lend one or two passes before they try and go forward, because at the minute it's so transitional. It seems that every time that Wrexham win the ball back, within 2 or 3 passes, it's back to Birmingham again.
Paik plays it down to the right-hand side of the midfield. He's seen plenty of it in this 3-2-4-1 formation. He's on the right of the two. Iwata to his right. Willemsen with the dark hair. And then down towards Clara again. Ball control from Clara. Saw Elliot Lee coming and just flicked the ball back with the studs of the right boot. And turned, and with an economy of effort, just laid it back for Bielik, and Birmingham can change the line of attack from the right to the left. 1-1 the score, and we've got 7 minutes to go to the break here on Talksport 2. Great crossfield ball. Gardner-Hickman, right-footed, sends in a beautifully shaped ball out towards Hansen, coming in on the left-hand side of the penalty area. It's bypassed him, but it will be kept in on that far touch line. Cochrane made the run. It wasn't a good enough pass to find him. And Wrexham will clear the lines and get it towards halfway again.
I like that a lot. Birmingham City, they're mixing it up. We think about them as a team now under Chris Davies that, they play through this Thursday possession base, which they can do adeptly, but also when there's the opportunity, and Gardner-Hickman that wide, it's a wonderful ball out, and then the delivery that he puts in the box, and it's just a shame for Hansen. I think if he sets off half a yard earlier, then he'll get on the end of that.
Another crossfield ball, picked out Gardner-Hickman again. Good control from him, took the pace out of it with his first touch. Just given a shove to the ground by McLean off the ball. Play goes on, Willemsen chipping it over the penalty area. Iwata chasing after it, but it should be cleared easily by O'Connor, and then headed back by Lee. And if Iwata hadn't lost his footing, it would have been straight to him. He's done well to win it back. And Alfie May's got it now. The diminutive forward goes to his left-hand side for Paik. Round 1 challenge. Flick towards Willemsen. Edge of the area. Can't get it onto his left foot for a shot. And Wrexham clear. But Birmingham will come again. They're well on top now. Cochrane out towards the left-hand side for Hansen. The Swedish winger wearing 7 to Cochrane again. Ball inside the penalty area. Okonkwo judged it well. Just withdrew his hands at the last moment. And it sailed over those and onto the roof of the net and out of play for a goal kick.
Absolutely relentless from Birmingham. Just wave after wave of attack. It's like a training phase of play where you're the defending team and you just have to keep taking the attack. But I just don't see how Wrexham can keep doing this without conceding a goal. I love the work rate from Iwata, by the way. Makes a fantastic deep run into the box. He isn't found, and then the way that he slips, wins the ball back. And that's what Chris Davies says about his team, regardless of everything else on the pitch and the way that you play with the ball and the technical ability. You have to be the hardest working team, and you can see that mentality within them.
I talked earlier about the fact that Clara was playing in the Bundesliga last season. Iwata was playing in the Champions League last season. He made 3 appearances in that competition, and the couple of dozen that he featured for Celtic, making his league debut for Birmingham tonight, and he's shown up well. Here's May. Trying to slide the ball down the inside left channel for the run from Hansen, but it's cleared. And then turning in the midfield, Wrexham have done well to win it back with Dobson. Dobson, the former Charlton man. Rathbone to Barnett to Cleworth. And now Owen O'Connell to O'Connor. O'Connor able to get towards halfway. Under pressure from Stansfield, rolls it forward. Birmingham cut it out. And here's Iwata again. The aforementioned Japanese international, able to take it on 10 yards or so. Finds Gardner-Hickman, who's become increasingly involved. Now Clara. Cochrane out towards the far touchline. Wrexham fans making themselves heard in the railway end away to our right-hand side. They're getting a good view of everything. It's right in front of them at the moment. Cochrane, Clara, teasing it over the top on the edge of the penalty area, but Cleworth was able to easily head away. The counter-attack potentially could be on here, but it was just a shove from Rathbone as he and Paik chased the loose ball, and Rathbone just leant into his man. And it's a free kick to Birmingham. They had the first 2 shots of the night, Wrexham. Birmingham have had all 5 since then, and one of them ended up in getting things back on level terms through Jay Stansfield. We've played 15 or 16 minutes since then. It remains 1 apiece here on Talksport 2. Willemsen losing out, winning it back, then losing out again, and then Palmer has pulled the shirt of Bielik, but the free kick has been given Wrexham's way before that. And it's a free kick that Elliot Lee will come across to take. 1-1, Courtney.
Yeah, and you see how wide that ball comes out again to Gardner-Hickman. And even when he doesn't get the ball, he's influencing the play because James McLean is so worried about him. There's then such a massive gap between the outside centre-half and the wing-back. And that's where that earlier run deep from Iwata was fantastic because he found that space. And that is increasingly, for me, becoming a problem for Wrexham.
Iwata to Paik, Clara guiding it forward. McLean is first to the loose ball after Dobson initially cut it out. Wrexham just hammer it upfield. Now Birmingham with Iwata can run round. He's got a great work ethic, Iwata. He's covered so much ground inside the opening 42-43 minutes here. It's not going to be an awful lot of stoppage time added on at the end of this first half. 1-1 the score. We've only got a couple of minutes to go. It's Clara down to the right-hand touchline. It's Jim Proudfoot and Corny Sweetman-Kirk talking you through the action here at St Andrews tonight. Willemsen back for Clara. Bielik. Now Cochrane just emerging from the centre circle as he picks up possession. Out towards Hansen, who will hold the width on the left-hand side. Paik is out there as a passing option and then just threads the ball beautifully past Palmer's trailing foot. Helped on them by Bielik. Down to the right-hand side of the penalty area for Gardner-Hickman. Fires in a cross which hits the turning McLean and bounces over the line and out for a corner, which is Birmingham City's 3rd of the night, which will be taken on the right flank in the final minute of the opening 45.
Well, that pressing sequence there from Wrexham left a lot to be desired, even though they'd dropped into that deep block and they were so compact, they just didn't get it right. The body shape and the angles, they weren't showing the right way into bodies. Birmingham City easily get out of it and win themselves a corner.
So Cochrane's going to come across to take this. The referee Oldham's blown his whistle and just asked for a quick halt in proceedings. He's watching what's going on around the edge of the penalty area. He's just had a quick word with Clara and O'Connell, and now he indicates that the corner can be taken. So Cochrane respots the ball, takes 3 steps back, both hands above his head, left-footed, sends it in really deep into that congested 6-yard box, come off the top of Palmer's head. Is it going to go out of play for another corner? Not quite. It was cleared by O'Connor before it did. It will be a Birmingham throw, which is taken short to May, and the 4th official, Jacob Miles, indicates, as expected, just 1 additional minute. 1-1 the score. Now the ball laid back for Peacock Farrell. High ball over the top, Stansfield chasing, kept O'Connell honest, and then McLean with an air shot as he tried to volley the initial defensive header away on the edge of the penalty area, and Gardner-Hickman can pick it up. Little 1-2 between him and Willemsen. Gardner-Hickman then back for Iwata. Iwata just with an angle, perfect angle on the ball, which invited Bielik forward. Out towards Cochrane to Hansen. Chance for one last Birmingham City attack. Hansen with a low ball inside the box. May looking for it. Iwata picks it up. Comes to the right-hand side of the penalty area and he gets it back again. Gardner-Hickman. Birmingham need to get the ball in quickly. Otherwise the half-time whistle is going to beat them to it. Chance for Clara. He can't find a way past McLean. A little block challenge. Ball goes out of play. Throw to Birmingham. There won't be time to take it. And we get in at half-time at 1-1. Well, he's had a big billing this game, but it's been very easy on the eye. Wrexham, the better side through the opening 15. Birmingham, the better side ever since. Marriott gave Wrexham the lead. Stansfield equalising for Birmingham midway through the first half. Both sides scoring when they were on top. A good spectacle, 1-1, but Birmingham, the better side, by and large, through the opening 45 minutes, have certainly looked more likely to score the decisive 3rd goal of the night. Half-time at St Andrews, Hugh. 1-1.
Well, the tail of the tape is quite stark. 72% possession to Birmingham City in that first half. They've had 5 shots, 3 of them on target, 312 completed passes to just 96 for Wrexham. The score is level, but Jack Marriott's 3rd-minute opener is the only shot that Wrexham have had in that first half. Of course, cancelled out by Jay Stansfield on 22 minutes. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, it was the perfect start. Let's go back to that opening goal early on, because the Birmingham goalkeeper, Bailey Peacock-Farrell, was completely unprotected by his team. He was almost forced into the back of the net by Owen O'Connell. It was a weak punch from him. It landed at the feet of Jack Marriott. He fired into the ground and into the net for his 4th goal of the season. And really, that was the perfect start for Wrexham. They just haven't built on it.
No, they haven't. And as you say, it's the perfect start. Although in one way, is it maybe a little bit too early for them, because you know they're looking more defensively at this game. So you can't hold on for 80-odd minutes, not against a team like Birmingham, in my opinion, with the way that they play with the ball in possession. And it's not just possession for possession's sake. The tempo that they play with on the ball is absolutely incredible, and Wrexham have dropped deeper and deeper into this half, and I just think they needed to try and build on that second goal. The battle for me between McLean and Gardner-Hickman, it's been all Gardner-Hickman. He's won that because James McLean is so worried about him that it's nullifying the threat that Wrexham normally have going down that left-hand side.
Absolutely, nothing really for them going forward. They looked, I say, fairly comfortable. It felt like an even game up until the equaliser, albeit Wrexham weren't really controlling the ball. But Jay Stansfield showed his sharpness in front of goal. He equalised. Arthur Okonkwo in the Wrexham goal will be pretty unhappy because he parried it straight into his path from a fairly innocuous May shot. And from that point in time, it's really been all Birmingham.
Yeah, it did. You're right. I think you can control a game of football without the ball, and I wouldn't say that Wrexham controlled it by any stretch, but you're right, they did look comfortable up until that goal. They didn't look under as much pressure as they have in the second period of the first half. But you're right, Okonkwo, I've watched him a few times and I quite like him as a goalkeeper, but for me, he's got to parry that out to the side. That's the thing you always say about goalkeepers. When you make that save, don't put it back into the bodies. It's exactly what he did, and it was... for Wrexham, I don't think the defenders maybe reacted quick enough either, but this is what I love about forwards that are anticipating the play. I've made a career out of it in terms of scoring tap-ins, but that's what Jay Stansfield did so well. He anticipated the shot. Then you've always got to think as a forward about best case scenario. What happens if this doesn't go in? What happens if this falls to my feet? And that's exactly what Stansfield does there. And it's, it looks like an easy opportunity, but it's still got, quite a lot to do with it. And after that, I think I mentioned it within the first half, the fact that he came alive after that, the way that he was moving around the centre half, O'Connell, particularly the way that he was coming off, laying the ball off, then making the runs in behind. And yeah, I've been really impressed with him so far.
Of course, Chris Davis is probably going to be the happier of the two managers, but they'll both be thinking with it 1-1 that they can still win this game. What do you think they'll both be feeling about what extra they need to do to ensure they get the next goal?
Well, for Birmingham, it's creating more opportunities, isn't it? For all the possession in the world, 72%, they're still on level terms in terms of the most important stat, and that's the scoreline. I think they will create more chances, so it's about sticking to the process, trusting that, getting more balls in the box. Jay Stansfield, in terms of, they've been quite clever actually at times, Birmingham, where they've gone direct to him, and that's caused a couple of problems for Wrexham, I think, because they maybe weren't expecting it. So they're certainly... For Birmingham, it's sort of more of the same, whereas for Wrexham, they've got to change. I think they've got to be more expansive, whether that means a change in shape, whether you say to James McLean, don't worry about Gardner-Hickman, you've got to make him worry about you. You've obviously got Mullin on the bench, you've got someone like Stephen Fletcher that maybe then you can go and play a little bit more direct and play off him for the flick-ons. So, they've got options, Wrexham, but I think it's about being brave at this point, because for the biggest period of that first half, they've sat in the block and almost waited for something to happen, and all they were doing was inviting pressure.
The changes are going to be important as well. You saw a few Wrexham bodies just walking towards the end of that first half. They've chased the ball predominantly. It has been keenly contested, though, level at the break, but the Blues just beginning to turn the screw and take hold of this big game towards the top of League One. An important second half to come, but at the break on Talksport 2, it's Birmingham 1, Wrexham 1.
Mufasa, you sold the car, right?
What?
You know you sold the car, right? Just sold my car. Do we buy any car?
Just sold my car. Do we buy any car? Just sold my car. Do we buy any car?
To find out how much your car's worth in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at webuyanycar.com. Admin fee may apply. For more information, visit webuyanycar.com/info.
This is no ordinary mission. We're here to help carpet fitters bring comfort and luxury into every home. A new carpet deserves the best underlay to keep that brand new carpet look for light years. We're talking Tredair carpet underlay here. We're the Tredairnauts. And with our range of underlays, we're on a mission to bring comfort and luxury into homes across the universe.
Tredair carpet underlay. Feels like nothing on earth.
Ah, the unassuming office coffee machine. It's where you go to get a brew. It's a pick-me-up for some, a place to catch up for others, and a gateway to steal all your business data for hackers. You see, hackers can strike from anywhere, even a smart coffee machine. BT Cybersecurity keeps your business protected. Search BT's Got Your Back to find out more. BT means business.
All the big names are here. Ooh, who is that?
I think she was in the movie about that really big shark.
No, not her. The florist.
Oh, she's automating invoices on the go so she can spend more time on that flower wall.
QuickBooks could save you up to 8 hours a week, so you could bring your vision to life. That's how you business differently. Intuit QuickBooks.
Sounds like someone just made a delicious order and got himself some tasty credit back. Because when you sign up to Deliveroo Plus Gold, you get even more member perks, like 10% credit back on restaurant orders over £30, which collects in your app so you can spend more on what you love. Genius. Sign up to Deliveroo Plus Gold today and start living that plus life. Subscription fee, geographical restrictions, service fees and terms apply. Partner eligibility applies. See deliveroo.co.uk/legal for details.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
Tuesday night, the Champions League live
on Talksport.
Oh, what a goal! Psst. Anyone fancy an Italian?
Oh, it's in!
AC Milan versus Liverpool.
3-course coverage starts at 7. Easy kickoff from 8.
What a fabulous result.
Try it, you might like it. Talksport.
Now that's a spicy football.
Talksport Podcast League. Outspoken with White and Jordan.
Listen to the latest show whenever and wherever you want with Outspoken, the podcast from Talksport.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
All killer, no filler conversation.
Did you say that he should be investigated by trading standards?
That doesn't pull any punches.
Yeah, because he was rubbish.
Outspoken with Jim Mighty White and Lord Simon Jordan.
That's a bit over the top. Well, there we are.
Out now.
Listen or download for free from your favourite podcast portal.
The sports machine turns you on to the power of live football.
He fires in a beauty.
EFL live on Talksport 2.
Under the gaze of sporting legends and Hollywood A-listers, this is League One like never before. And we're underway. Cleworth much the taller and he spins round the back with an in-swinging delivery. It was very difficult and he's volleyed into the net. Far deflection by Marriott. Perfect start for Wrexham.
They do so well, Wrexham, to keep this ball alive, and that's the important thing. Dangerous in that box. We've got some big hitters.
Left-footed ball inside the penalty area. It's laid off Willemsen, having his shirt ball on the edge of the area. Sets it up for a right-footed shot. And on the follow-up, Stansfield puts it in. 1-1. Birmingham's first real meaningful attack of the game.
He is there in the right place, in the right time to tuck it in. And for all the pressure that Birmingham City have put on, they do deserve that goal.
Yes, it was all going swimmingly after 3 minutes as Jack Marriott fired Wrexham in front. But after Jay Stanfield's sharp finish midway through the first half, it has been all Birmingham. At this point, both sides' unbeaten records are still intact in League One, but you get the feeling something is going to give. A big second half on the way here on Talksport 2. Before we get there, just a reminder, the Champions League returns tomorrow evening. New, improved. Wonder what to expect? Well, it's all over the Talksport network, starting right here on Talksport 2. As a team that Birmingham City fans know very well indeed, from just down the road, Aston Villa are in Switzerland to face Young Boys.
European champions from 1982, back on Europe's top table.
After 42 years to be in Champions League, I know how important it is to be there.
Exciting, but let's go and qualify.
Watkins pulls it back, Tielemans rams it in! What a finish from Tielemans!
I think Villa Park will be rocking again now. They're getting back to their former glories. These are huge times for Villa.
Very much back on the up, really looking strong. I think they're good enough, the squad's good enough to give a really decent go at it.
Aston Villa, they'll get to the Champions League quarter-finals.
Bayern Munich at home, RB Leipzig away, Club Brugge away, Juve at home, Celtic at home, what tie that would be, Young Boys away, Bologna at home, and Monaco away.
Great turn, brilliant goal! Oh, that's magic from Morgan Rogers.
Play more than 8 matches, really fantastic. Of course, to win a title through Champions League could be, yes, but it's very, very difficult. But of course, it's in our dreams.
Big week for the Villains. Well, listen, lapping up the culture in Bern right now is Talksport's former Villa captain, Gabby Agbolnahor. In fact, he's just posted on Instagram sharing a couple of beverages with our very own Ali McCoist. He actually sat in on Unai Emery's press conference a little bit earlier on today.
First of all, for me, Unai, the Villa fans love you and what you are doing for this club. I would like to personally thank you as an ex-player. The team is a joy to watch. And you have so much experience in European football. I want to know how you're feeling going into tomorrow night's game.
Good afternoon and nice to see you, Gabi. And of course, congratulations for everything you did here in Aston Villa. Now is our moment. hopefully our moment as well. Yeah, we are excited, and I think it's a good moment for the club. After a long time playing again Champions League, tomorrow we are going to start. Hopefully we can keep it for a long time again. And it's really our challenge. And my own challenge is after to get Europe. Last year we got it playing in Conference League. It's now in Champions League, try to keep it. And we know that how the difficulties is this way, because to play again in Champions League is more or less is through Premier League. And in Premier League they are more or less 7, 8 teams being favorite or contender to get the position on the table to get it. But we have to try to enjoy each match, each moment.
Absolutely, those Aston Villa fans should be enjoying each and every moment. Back in the Champions League, you can hear them return live on Talksport 2. It's an early one, 5:45 p.m. kickoff against Young Boys out in Bern. Commentary comes from Joe Shannon and former Aston Villa captain Andy Townsend. Lots of live football across the week. Remember, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. over on Talksport. It's going to be AC Milan against Liverpool. We'll have Carabao Cup action here on Talksport 2. Same kickoff time as Manchester United take on Barnsley. It's going to be tough for the United fans tomorrow night, isn't it? 18th of September, that's Wednesday. It's Manchester City against Inter Milan over on Talksport. Here we will also have Carabao Cup actions. Coventry take on Spurs. And Thursday night over on Talksport, it's going to be Atalanta against Arsenal. Friday night on Talksport 2, Chelsea against Aston Villa in the Women's Super League rounds off our midweek actions. So loads for you to sink your teeth into. There's going to be plenty of talking points throughout the week across the Talksport network. In the meantime, League One is our focus. It is level at the break between Birmingham City and Wrexham. Let's head back to St Andrews very, very quickly to look ahead to this second half as we look at the scenes of Jay Stansfield on our screen celebrating. What have you made, Courtney, of the way that he has linked up with Alfie May? I know we spoke about it before the game. You were talking a few minutes ago about the need for Birmingham City to create a little bit more in terms of goal-scoring opportunities. How much does it come down to those two maybe not yet having a fully fledged relationship on the pitch?
Yeah, potentially so, and I think you can see that Alfie May is quite happy to drop into that number 10 role quite naturally, so I think it works in that sense. But they're both dynamic players, so there have been times within the game where they're swapping, interchanging. It's not necessarily a set forward line at all, and that's the way that Birmingham play with fluidity anyway. But it does take a little bit of time, but I'm sure that sooner rather than later they'll be able to find that. It just takes minutes on the pitch and that time on the training ground to know where that player's going to run, what they're going to do, what their movement is, and it needs to be at a point where it becomes second nature. And you're right, it's probably not quite there yet.
What are you expecting to see then from this second half? Will Phil Parkinson go early with changes, do you think?
Doesn't look like it from what I can see. The players are just coming out and doesn't look like there's been any changes. So maybe a tweak in a formation in that sense. But I think it'll be more of the same, to be honest. Birmingham City piling the pressure on, keeping the possession. And for them and those fans, they're going to hope that they just see a little bit more in the box in the final third.
Okay, let's see if it follows that story as Chris Davis makes his way down the touchline. Phil Parkinson already in the dugout. The second half of Birmingham City 1, Wrexham 1 is with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, the former Liverpool women's forward, and Talksport's Jim Proudfoot.
And no changes, Hugh, at this stage. So Birmingham lining up Peacock, Farrell in goal, Clara, Bielik and Cochrane are back three, then Gardner, Hickman and Hansen wide, Pagan and Iwata in the centre of midfield. And then Willemsen and May off Stansfield up front. Second half underway. Wrexham kicking from left to right with a Conquo in goal. Barnett, Cleworth, O'Connell, O'Connor, McLean. Rathbone, Dobson and Lee. And Palmer and Marriott up front. Just a reminder of who's on the bench. For Birmingham, Wright, Leonard, Anderson, Dykes, Samstead and Davis. And for Wrexham, Mullin, Revan and Scarr, Mendy, Cannon and Fletcher. And Alsop and Burton, the reserve keepers. Play stops because Cochrane has just got a bang to the head. He's all right. He's going to be able to continue. It's a free kick that Alfie May takes and just rolls behind him for Bielik. Bielik playing it into the feet of Iwata inside the centre circle. And then it goes back for Bielik again. 1-1 the score. Marriott on 3 for Wrexham and Stansfield equalising almost 20 minutes later for Birmingham at the midway stage of the first half. Here on Talksport 2, 1-1 the score. As Cochrane has it again. The player who started his career with his hometown club, Brighton and Hove Albion. And then had a successful spell north of the border with Hearts. This man had a decent spell north of the border as well. Iwata. Back behind square. Cochrane working it forward towards Paik. Paik out of the left-hand side. Hansen, right-footed ball, hitting it in very deep towards the far side. Gardner Hickman going up for it. Went down inside the penalty area. It's claiming that he was fouled. Referee says play on. Iwata working it forward. Might break inside the box here for May. He's just knocked away from him before he could get a shot in. Birmingham recycle it, but much deeper. Cochrane. And then Bielik out towards the right-hand side. Swung in, awkward bounce inside the 6-yard box. Hansen will watch it and then guide it back for Cochrane again. Midway inside the Wrexham half, controlling it and laying it back behind square for Bielik. Bielik to Cochrane. Cochrane to Hansen. Hansen level the edge of the penalty area, trying to take on a couple of Wrexham players. It's slammed away and will bounce in Birmingham territory, out of play for a Blues throw.
Well, and nothing's changed in terms of the way that the first half finished. Birmingham in possession. Wrexham dropping really, really deep, inviting all the pressure. I didn't know whether they'd try and maybe mount a bit of a better press from the front, but they're quite happy to sit in. So it looks like for now it's more of the same and trying to hit Birmingham on the counter-attack. But again, that ball goes forward, not enough quality on it, and gives possession straight back to Birmingham.
Bielik to Cochrane, turn around the corner by Hansen, but couldn't find Cochrane's run. Wrexham able to get it upfield with Rathbone, and Palmer's going to chase after that. And Clara did well, just had to extend the right leg to make sure that he got enough contact on the ball to divert it back for Peacock Farrell. But Birmingham get it away down the right-hand side and then win a cheap throw as O'Connor miscontrol, sees the ball just tap straight out of play for a Birmingham City throw over on that far touchline. 1-1 the score. Wrexham have only dropped points this season against Bolton in week 2. That's been it. Won every other game. Work to do here. Birmingham much the better side. Chance to chip it inside the penalty area. Stansfield going up for the header, but the ball didn't quite get there. Lee trying to bring it out from the back, and then Marriott is brought down. And maybe bought the free kick. It was clever play. Willemsen just sucking into that, making the challenge, and it's a free kick to Wrexham.
Yeah, you're right. He bought it, but that's what his team needs right now at this moment. I'm just looking at Palmer. I keep watching him and feel for him so much, and I've been there in that role where you're just chasing shadows. The ball's, I say it's coming up to him, to be honest it's nowhere near him. He's lucky if it's in 5 yards of him at times, and you know, he's trying his best to get on the ball to press from the front, but it's just a thankless task right now.
He's got a decent goal-scoring record, Ollie Palmer. 4 goals in his last 7 league games. He scored in the last 2 at home. And a couple of goals to his credit this season, but just no service for him tonight. Wrexham might potentially be able to create something here. Ryan Barnett, who played non-league football just down the road from here at Solihull Moors until quite recently. He'll lead the throw for Cleworth to take. He's got a good long throw on him. He will take it right in front of the Birmingham City technical area, and it bounces onto the head of Clara, just on the edge of his own penalty area. And a play goes for another throw, which will be taken by Barnett. Wrexham fans making the noise away to our right-hand side. Wrexham kicking from left to right towards the railway end here at St Andrews. Willemsen able to pick up a loose ball in the midfield. He was watched by O'Connor, he stumbled, and Birmingham get cheap possession. Now work it out towards Alfie May. Left-hand side of the box. May stopping the ball, checking, left-footed. It's a disappointing delivery. Just chips it onto the roof of the net. And Birmingham, who were given a really good chance there, look a gift horse in the mouth, 1-1.
Yeah, it wasn't the cross that Alfie May anticipated there, but what I'm impressed with is the physicality from Birmingham City. I'm not just talking about shoulder to shoulder and strength in terms of their fitness, how sharp they seem, and they do just seem that half a step above Wrexham at the moment, sharper to the ball, faster, stronger, fitter.
Now Birmingham bossing possession, as we've consistently talked about throughout the game. And the second half is no different. Clara, with long-ranging stride, able to bring the ball over the halfway lines. Laid back now for Iwata. Iwata to Willemsen, slightly awkward touch from him. I wonder at what stage Chris Davis will be tempted to make a change, because he is somebody that uses the full weight of the bench. Good ball inside the area, and Stansfield does it again. Left-footed swinging delivery from Cochrane. Brilliant shape on the ball. Stansfield coming in unmarked, free header, and he sends it back into the bottom left-hand corner. And Birmingham City have turned this around, and they lead by 2-1.
Well, that is the quality on the cross for me. Yes, Stansfield's got a lot to do, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But the quality on this ball is incredible. It's got everything. It's got the pace. It's just slightly coming away from the goalkeeper. So Stansfield, all he has to do is make sure he gets a good connection and does everything right, as you're taught to do as a young player. Head it back where it's come from, across the goal. And I've got a Birmingham City fan that I know said to me at half-time, Jay Stansfield will get 3 goals tonight. Well, he's not far away now.
£15 million is a lot of money. It puts pressure on a young man's shoulders. He's only 21, but the way that he's consistently played through his career, with the heartbreak that he's had as a young man, losing his father so early, everybody that knows him speaks so highly of him, thinks that he will be able to deal with the pressure. And he scored twice tonight. 2 goals, half an hour apart. Birmingham City 2, Wrexham 1. And the Blues fans keeping right on to the end of the road. 2-1 up, and Wrexham need to respond now. You can kind of understand the game plan at 1-1 to try and keep things tight, kind of. Now they have to be more proactive as they chase the game.
Yeah, they have to, and that will invariably as well, though, lead to more problems when they're more expansive. It just leaves more space for Birmingham City to exploit. And just going back to Stansfield, as soon as Wrexham take the kick-off, straight away harrying the defenders, gets a ricochet, and I absolutely love that. And you can just see he's brimming with confidence.
But credit as well, and you mentioned it straight away, to the quality of the ball from Cochrane. And as the Birmingham players, by and large, raced over to Stansfield, Hansen straight away came across and embraced Cochrane, knowing just how important the quality of that ball was. Beautiful shape on it, and it faded at the last minute perfectly into the path of the onrushing Stansfield. Birmingham 2, Wrexham 1. Now that's a crunching challenge. McLean has taken exception to it. The referee might as well. Yes, he does. And it's a yellow card for Gardner Hickman. And he's actually hurt himself in making the challenge. He's gone back down. McLean took umbrage and squared up to him for a moment. Nothing happened. as part of that, and Gardner-Hickman rightly is yellow carded.
Yeah, he just tempered himself at the right time, McLean. But I'm not surprised that he's not happy with that, because Gardner-Hickman completely mistimes that. Comes through the back of McLean, nowhere near the ball. Wasn't a good challenge at all.
2-1 to Birmingham. Wrexham's bench, remember, including Paul Mullin, who hasn't started a game so far this season. Iwata trying to bring the ball away for Blues. May able to pick it up. Lays it back behind square for Cochrane. Cochrane will turn it to the edge of the D on the edge of his own penalty area. And then Bielik can knock it out. Clara brings it forward. Out towards the right flank for Gardner-Hickman, the second Birmingham City player booked after the yellow card shown to Clara in the first 45. Peacock Farrell to Cochrane. Cochrane, his white boots, bring the ball forward towards halfway. He rolls the ball into the feet of Paik. And then played forward again by Bielik. Out of the right-hand side for Clara. It's continued his run, and the centre-half finds himself on the right wing for a moment. Takes it down towards the corner flag. Checks, tries to get away from McLean, and ends up doing really well. Buys a throw off O'Connor, which Birmingham will take only about 10 yards from the corner flag, and Gardner-Hickman goes over there to take it. Birmingham 2, Wrexham 1. Wrexham would still be top of the table if it finished this way, but Birmingham would be second, level on points with a game in hand. And Charlton would just edge down to third. It's the situation as things stand at the moment. The goal difference really tight. Wrexham's 8, Birmingham's 4, and Charlton's 3, all with 13 points. If a table is even relevant at this stage of the season. I know people that say you shouldn't even look at it till you're 10 games, 12 games in, but that is the situation for what it's worth. Cochrane out towards the right-hand side of the midfield for Gardner-Hickman's run. May waiting with the ball at his feet. He's just pulled it back. Birmingham with good, neat, crisp passing football in dangerous areas as well. May to Iwata. Iwata on the right-hand side of the box. And still Clara is forward. And Birmingham effectively only playing with 2 defenders for a moment, but haven't got anything to worry about at the back because Wrexham can't get the ball forward towards Ollie Palmer, as Courtney's been saying. Hansen through the midfield. Paik can bring it forward. Paik under pressure, and that's a loose ball from him. Not seen too many of those. Who's just under a little bit of pressure from Marriott. That forced him to hurry the pass. And his ball for Gardner-Hickman was overhit. Out of play, throw to Wrexham, who trailed 2-1 here on Talksport 2.
I'm surprised that we're not seeing any Wrexham substitutions. As I say that, they're going out to warm up, and you can't imagine now that it'll be too long before we see some changes, because it's just so dominant from Birmingham City. The players on the pitch right now don't have an answer for what Birmingham City are doing in terms of the movement, the attacking nature, the aggressiveness, and then the willingness. When they lose it straight away, the first thing they want to do is win it back. It's been a brilliant performance.
And a brilliant performance in the context of the importance of the game and the fact that they were behind after 2.5 minutes. Birmingham in possession again. Stephen Fletcher amongst those out warming up at the moment. Clara will bring the ball forward for Birmingham and work it through the midfield for Willemsen. Now Gardner-Hickman coming in off the right flank. Clever ball from him into Stansfield, who's on a hat-trick, but he'll be turned away from the edge of the penalty area by O'Connell, but given away in turn. Then the loose ball ricochets down towards the touchline and goes out of play for a Birmingham City throw. Throw taken quickly. Wrexham's unbeaten record in jeopardy. I'm sure the conversations between Tom Brady and Ryan McElhenney in the Rob McElhenney, I beg your pardon, in the hospitality suites will be interesting at the moment. They'll be even more interesting now, because Iwata volleys one in from 25 yards. Took a touch, got it out from underneath his left foot and spears it in from distance off the inside of the right-hand post. Birmingham 3, Wrexham 1.
He deserved that, Iwata. For my money, he's probably been the best player on the pitch. He's had a little bit of everything. The quality on the ball, the way that he works out of possession, been brilliant in possession, and then finishing it off with that little bit of quality in the end. Okonkwo, he's got absolutely no chance in that bottom corner. It's so precise. And Birmingham City, by far and away the better team, deserve to be 3-1 up. And when you look at Wrexham, they've only had one shot, one goal, and they need to show something different now, Wrexham, because they're doing the same thing and it's not getting any change, so they need to make some substitutions.
Tomoki Iwata with a great finish to mark his Birmingham League debut. It's 3-1 second half. Birmingham 83%. They've had 2 shots, they've scored with them both. Wrexham, not only haven't they had a sight of Peacock Farrell's goal, I don't think they've had a touch near the edge of the penalty area. And the Wrexham substitutes warming up with an increased intensity. Birmingham also getting the likes of Samstead ready. I don't think it's going to be too long before he comes on. 3-1 to Birmingham City. And Tom Brady will be loving it. It'll be worth catching the red eye over from Dallas for this. Now Stansfield, ball bounces awkwardly, right-footed toe poke towards goal. Smuggled away and out for a corner. It's one-way traffic.
Well, I think Parkinson's calling some players back now. Stephen Fletcher looks to be one of those, but this scoreline isn't at all flattering to Birmingham City and could get worse.
Yeah, Wrexham are going to be bringing Mullin and Fletcher on. Birmingham have a corner. It's their first of the second half. They lead 3-1. 3 Blues players inside the 6-yard box. May peels away round the back. Headed away though, and headed away well by Dobson. And to the Birmingham City right, where it's brought under control by Alfie May. As Dobson fouled him. Referee says no, play on. Lee with the touch. Back out of the left-hand touchline, and Dobson will clear. Gets it towards halfway. Wrexham try to hold it up. That looked like a little shove there from Cochrane. Birmingham had lost their defensive shape for a moment, and I think it was a decent free kick to concede from a Birmingham City perspective. Well, 2 changes imminent as far as the Welsh side are concerned. 3-1 the scoreline in Birmingham's favour, and it is now richly deserved. Wrexham the better side for the opening 15 minutes, but it's been relentless pressure from the home team since then.
I think for Wrexham, these substitutions now, it's a little bit too late. Yes, we know that EFL is wonderful, it can bring up some surprises, but just can't see Wrexham getting back into this game with how dominant Birmingham City have been. It would take the capitulation of all capitulations for Wrexham to come out with anything from this game.
Pate gets it forward towards Willemsen. And then sliding challenges in the midfield. Looked like a really good case for a free kick to Birmingham. Chris Davis certainly thought so and was bellowing in the ear of 4th official Jacob Miles to make that point. Blues are going to make a double change. Samstead and Dykes coming on. Mullin coming on. Can't see Fletcher, but I'm sure that he will be coming on as well for Wrexham. Now the dugout's just in front of us. You can't actually see the subs until they walk right to the edge of the technical area. And now Paik has gone down and is in need of a bit of treatment. And here is Fletcher. So Fletcher and Mullin for Wrexham. Samstead and Dykes for Birmingham. And this just goes to show the strength in depth they've got as a League One side Birmingham, that they can bring Lyndon Dykes off the bench.
Yeah, it's incredible, but it's important, isn't it? We know how long this season is, how relentless it is, midweek, weekend, most weeks. You've got the cup competitions to think about as well. So that strength in depth for me is so important.
So Marriott, the Wrexham goal scorer, comes off to be replaced by Paul Mullin, who gets the traditional St Andrews welcome. Now Blues will make their changes, and there will be a big ovation here for Gardner Hickman as he comes off. Samstead will replace him, and that'll be a straight swap at right back, and we're going to see Alfie May replaced by Lyndon Dykes, the £1 million signing from QPR, who started both of Scotland's internationals over the last 10 days. And he comes on for just his 2nd appearance for the club. So Dykes and Samstead for May and Gardner Hickman. First league game in which Alfie May hasn't scored for Blues. And for Wrexham, it's Mullin and Fletcher for Palmer and Marriott.
Well, for me, obviously, rightly so, Jay Stansfield will get all the applause and the columns after the game. But I tell you what, Gardner Hickman for me has been absolutely brilliant. The way that he started the game and nullified McLean, got forward and made it really difficult for Wrexham to mount an attack. McLean was so worried about Gardner-Hickman, and that's when they really started, Birmingham, to control the game through possession and pin Wrexham back.
19 minutes gone in the second half here on Talksport 2. Birmingham 3, Wrexham 1. Now play will restart for a free kick for that foul on Pate, which seems about 10 minutes ago now, after the changes and the prevarication, and eventually the substitutions completed. Pate down to the left-hand side for Stansfield. And Mullin is involved straight away. He's given a free kick away. That's possibly born of the frustration that he's had sitting on the bench watching this. Paul Mullin, whose goal return in his 3 seasons for Wrexham, 32, 47 and 26. 15 goals in his last 17 games. There's actually, Blues fans will remember an FA Cup defeat to League Cup defeat to Cambridge here a few years back. Mullin played that day for Cambridge and returns to St Andrews hoping to be on the winning side, but it's going to be quite a story if he is from this position. Okonkwo put under all kinds of pressure by Lyndon Dykes, and just a little Cruyff turn inside his own penalty area to get away from the Scotsman. Wrexham have it inside their own half, work it all the way back for Okonkwo again, who will play out from the back. They've got to be more positive. They need more of the ball. They've only had 20% of it in this second half, and in the mid-20s over the game as a whole. Will the changes up front see an increase of service to the forward line? Because that's what they've been missing. Here's Stansfield trying to get away from the challenge at the other end, played in towards Hansen. Hansen inside the area, goes to ground. Nothing doing. Referee well placed. And I think he was just eased down to the ground. I think it was a good challenge, though, by Rathbone. He then gives it away. The crossfield ball that Willemsen does really well to come and cut out. And then Pate has it in the midfield now, and Birmingham will build from the back, 3-1.
And this is the problem for Wrexham. Yeah, you can change the forward line and bring them on, but actually the service, you can't fault some of the work that Palmer did, for example. He was chasing shadows. He didn't get that service on the ball, so something's got to change further back for Wrexham. It's just interesting as well. Lyndon Dykes coming on, so that means Stansfield just going to play a little bit deeper than playing behind Lyndon Dykes.
Yeah, he's taking the role that May had, but good versatility. Can play off the flank. We saw that a few times last season. He can play as a 9 or a 10, and has played in both of those roles tonight. And Fletcher's won it back for Wrexham, but by foul means not fair. There's a foul on Pate and a free kick which Birmingham City take quickly with Iwata. He's found Cochrane. Cochrane trying to thread another through ball, but Lyndon Dykes chases. Second favourite O'Connell gets there first, and it'll then be cleared by Barnett down the near touchline for Wrexham. Cochrane wins it back. Willemsen stretching, trying to win it back. Dobson does well to thread a pass back to the edge of his own penalty area for Cleworth. And then Wrexham will clear down the far touchline there, left-hand side with McLean. Blues winning a lot of second balls at the moment, but Stansfield just losing that one to Lee. Played by Rathbone. Down towards the right-hand side for Barnett. Rathbone's got it again. Forced under pressure from Stansfield to go back to halfway. Lee laying it back. Dobson with a crossfield ball. Out of the Wrexham left-hand side where it's just guided down towards O'Connor. O'Connor now towards Lee. Lee. The ball squirms through the midfield. Rathbone did really well to read that before anybody else, and Hansen gave him a shove. Free kick to Wrexham. Birmingham stopped it being taken quickly. And certainly one of the Blues players, if he doesn't get booked for that, will be a little bit fortunate. I think Rathbone making the point with some justification that Wrexham were in a good position there, and Barnett wanted the ball to be played in, and the positioning of the Birmingham players after the whistle had gone just stopped that happening, but no cards.
Yeah, and we know at the minute there's a big directive, isn't there, from the PGMOL in terms of delaying that restart, which in my opinion Birmingham did do there, but I think they got away with one because the fact that the foul was made means that that ball initially didn't go to Barnett down that right-hand side in open play.
3-1 to Birmingham. Lee taking this free kick, too close surely to Bailey Peacock Farrell. And that might be his first touch of the ball in this second half.
And it's poor from Wrexham. It's an opportunity, isn't it, to get high up the pitch, to cause some chaos in the box, like they did from the corner in the initial part of the game, but the delivery lets them down.
Birmingham in only the 5th season in their history outside one of the top 2 divisions. The first since they won the title at this level 30 years ago, back in the 94-95 campaign. Birmingham managed a 24-horse race. The fact that they're even money favourite just coming into tonight just shows the way that the market has been impressed with the amount of money that they've spent and the way they've spent it as well. And this has been a statement victory if they can hold on from here. And there are not too many signs at the moment that they won't be able to. 20 minutes to go. Just getting Scott Wright ready as well, Blues. So another change potentially is imminent. McLean, long ball launched forward. Fletcher goes up for it, beaten in the air by Clara. Fletcher then brings it down again. Lee does really well, threads it through towards Mullin. Mullin right-footed effort, saw that Peacock Farrell was slightly off his line and tried the difficult chip, but he didn't quite get enough elevation in it. Peacock Farrell was gratefully able to gather.
Yeah, you see he's wanting to lob him, trying that, find that top right-hand corner, but the way that the ball is under Mullin's foot, he can't get any power on it, so he's just basically trying to scoop it over the goalkeeper, and you're never going to generate the amount of power that you need to from there with that sort of technique.
Peacock Farrell clears. He's playing his club football on loan in Denmark last season. Wrexham win it back at the back. Cleworth to O'Connor. Launched forward by him down the left flank. Will be chased willingly by Dobson. Dobson then a little bit late as he went into the challenge on Iwata. It was a genuine attempt to win the ball, and he genuinely didn't win it. Birmingham have a free kick. Iwata wanted to restart play very quickly, but prevented from doing so by the referee because it would have been taken from the wrong place. Wrexham will now make another change. Rathbone coming off, and Andy Cannon is going to come on for him. He played in the first 4 league games this season, missed the last one, but he will come on into the heart of the midfield. And Birmingham will use this opportunity to make a double change, and Keshi Anderson is going to be coming on, a player who missed last week because of injury, and he'll replace Hansen. So Anderson for Hansen, and there won't be a hat-trick for Stansfield because he's going to be replaced by Mark Leonard.
Fuming, telling you now, as a forward, you are absolutely livid with the manager. If you're on a hat-trick, you're playing well, he's looking good. There's a fair amount left in the game, probably about 18 or so minutes plus whatever's added. You want to stay on and get your hat-trick.
Yeah, he leaves the field head down. Standing ovation for him. They love him here. He has the opportunity with a 7-year contract to really write his name into the club's history. Not just because of the price tag that was paid. So it's going to be a reshuffle then with Leonard coming on, a midfielder. So he will play slightly deeper than the role that Stansfield latterly had. Anderson's come out to the left-hand side to take the role of Hansen. And Peacock Farrell's got the ball at his feet and lays it down towards Cochrane. Cochrane put under immediate pressure by Cannon. Cleworth is in there. Birmingham win it back. Flicked on by Mark Leonard, who had 2 really good seasons on loan at Northampton from Brighton, earning him his move to Birmingham. Cannon is in there and was pulled to the ground by Leonard. The referee said that the initial contact came from Cannon himself. And the free kick goes Birmingham's way. Worked into the feet of Willemsen. Under pressure from Lee. He just plays the way that he's facing back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Really good travelling support from Wrexham tonight, but they've largely been silenced, those fans away to our right-hand side, by Birmingham's second half performance. And they're in the mood again here, the Blues, bringing it forward. Anderson involved. Good first contribution from him. Paik and to Willemsen to the right flank. And then a stumble from Paik as he was just looking to receive the ball that was played back in. And lost his footing at the most inopportune moment. Then as it's worked forward towards Mullin, he's wrestled to the ground by Bielik. And it's a free kick to Wrexham on halfway.
And it's a shame about the slip there, because that was a wonderful passage of play by Birmingham City. It's like watching rondos. It's just pass and move, playing off 1 and 2 touch, and they get themselves up and across the pitch so quickly.
3-1 they lead here on Talksport 2. And Wrexham still with time to mount a fight back. Boos from McLean as he picks up possession. 16 minutes to go here on Talksport 2. Well, we'll bring you 2 live games tomorrow, including Aston Villa away at Young Boys Bend, a 5:45 kickoff there, and then followed by Manchester United Barnsley in the Carabao Cup, which kicks off at 8, and over at 8 on Talksport tomorrow, Milan against Liverpool from the Champions League. We've got it all covered for you. And then Manchester City against Inter Milan's our live game on Talksport from the Champions League on Wednesday night at 8. Willemsen trying to help it forward. And towards the right-hand side of the box, a low ball skidding in, and Willemsen was there. And needing Kluivert to clear it, and he's put it over the line and out for a corner to Birmingham, their 5th of the night.
That all starts from the midfield rotation for me. It's brilliant. The movement to get on the ball, to then spray it out to that right-hand side, but that initial movement is something that Wrexham have just cannot deal with.
So Birmingham hungry for more. Now remember, if they were to score another one now, they would go joint top of the table. In fact, top on alphabetical order for semantics. 6 in the penalty area to attack this corner, which will be a right-footed away swinger from the far touchline in front of the Tilton, in towards the near post for Lyndon Dykes, but Andy Cannon got there first for Wrexham. Cleared to Mark Leonard. The referee, though, has spotted an infringement, and it's a foul that's been given away by Samstead in the midfield, and it's a free kick to Wrexham just outside their own box.
Yeah, and you've seen Wrexham look a little bit more urgent, inventive to a degree with what they're doing going forward, but still it's nothing for me that's causing a massive problem to Birmingham City. They're expecting a bit of a flurry obviously in the final few minutes from Wrexham, but it's nothing as yet that they can't deal with.
And now Fletcher chases a ball that's just chipped over the top of the Birmingham back line, and it looked for a moment as though he had a chance of getting there ahead of Peacock Farrell. He didn't quite. And it's bowled out by the Birmingham City goalkeeper for them to go again. Fletcher scored a Premier League goal on this ground back in the day, some 13 years ago when he was a Wolves player. Now times have changed since then. That looked like handball and some by O'Connell. The referee has given a throw Birmingham City's way, but that looked as though the ball had been played back and Tom Brady was just about to catch it and launch a long ball forward for a wide receiver.
Yeah, some form of American sport, American football, basketball, certainly looked like it, more than clipped a hand there.
Yeah, just the 2 hands, but it is a Birmingham throw that'll be taken. The throw will be taken by Cochrane on the Birmingham left, whose pass for the second goal of the night for Birmingham City is one of the standout moments of an entertaining evening. Throw taken quickly by Cochrane, worked forward through the midfield by Keshi Anderson. Out of the right-hand side for Samstead. Not the worst ball in, a little bit high for Dykes. And Birmingham will still be able to keep it in with Mark Leonard down by the corner flag. Back from him to Paik. Paik away from Cannon. He's continued his run. He's in and then loses his feet again. Second time tonight that he's gone A over T inside the Wrexham penalty area. Birmingham recycle it. Beel it back for Leonard. Leonard back inside his own half for Clara. Now to Cochrane. Cochrane towards Mark Leonard. Receives it with his first touch. Taps it forward with his second. Paik can't hold it up. Cochrane in with a really strong challenge. Keshi Anderson bringing it forward. Anderson to Willemsen. Willemsen just outside the penalty area, goes back for Leonard. Quick little 1-2 between Leonard and the South Korean international Paik. Anderson will take over. Rolling it forward into the feet of Dykes. Out it comes for Iwata. Right-footed ball in from him. Not as spectacular as this goal. It's just drifted over everybody and it'll be cleared down the Wrexham right.
And it's a small bit of respite for Wrexham. It's cleared away and back to a blue shirt, and it is relentless. I don't know how Wrexham are dealing with this, because as a player I've been there at times and it's absolutely soul destroying, but Birmingham City, they just look a level above Wrexham tonight, they really do.
And they spent a level or 2 above Wrexham, in fairness, so they should look better than the opposition, but after that first 15 minutes where Wrexham played well, they got the goal and they were able to hem Birmingham in inside their own half, it has been just blue wave after blue wave. Bielik sending another excellent crossfield ball out of the Birmingham City right. They will come forward again with Willemsen. They lead by 3 goals to 1 here on Talksport 2. Anderson can take the ball on the turn on the edge of the box. Wrexham able to bring it away, but it's just a tired ball forward. Mullin, to his eternal credit, did well to make something of it, and then caught by Cochrane. He's won a free kick, and then there's an angry reaction as well. Cochrane ended up falling down and penning Mullin down to the ground. Mullin reacting really angrily from that, and then Bielik gets involved, and Mullin and Cannon, and the shirt pulling going on, and all of a sudden there are 9 or 10 involved. Oh, McLean, didn't take him long to come over from the far side of the field to Bielik, who he's grabbed round the scruff of the neck, and the referee just takes a watching brief. This might take a little bit of sorting out.
I'll tell you where this comes from. For me, Cochrane, he doesn't need to go to ground. He knows exactly what he's doing. He wants to try and clear out Mullin with the challenge. He gets to the ball, luckily for him, but he can easily stay on his feet and get that. Then the way he falls, I don't know whether he leaves a bit on Mullin or whether it's accidental. And then from there, it just escalates so quickly. Too many people getting involved. Bielik was going head-to-head with someone, and next thing you know, there's 20 players in the melee.
Yeah, Cochrane then stopped Mullin getting up, and there was an angry reaction to that as well as what had gone on before. And Cochrane clearly the instigator, and he has sensibly gone as far away from the referee as he thinks he can get away with. He's not going to be the first player called over. Bielik's role in everything that followed was also unseemly with the pull of the shirt, but you would suggest the way that happened, that came after something that maybe Mullin said. McLean and Bielik look as though they just offered each other out after the game. McLean gets a yellow card. Bielik gets a yellow card. Is that going to be it? Or is the referee going to take further sanctions? I think that is it. Cochrane will consider himself a little bit fortunate if that is the case. Well, he's had everything other than a skirmish, and now it's had that as well.
Now we've had absolutely everything. There's just been another yellow card showed there as well.
Yeah, Cannon has picked up the latest of those. Is that going to be it, or is the referee going to call Cochrane over? Or is he going to call Anderson? He's calling Anderson over first. So the referee and all the officials mic'd up and all in conversation, all telling each other what they've seen. Anderson being spoken to, and he also gets a yellow card. So 4, 2 from each side, as a result of everything that we saw.
Yeah, as you say, I don't think that's something that the referee has seen and taking his time to show that card, but as you say, all the officials are mic'd up. They'll have all had eyes on it and seen slightly different things.
So is McLean and Cannon, Bielik and Anderson all yellow carded. Wrexham are going to be making a double change in a moment, and we're going to see Mendy and Revan, the former Aston Villa defender, will be coming on for Wrexham very shortly. 3-1 to Birmingham as we go into the final 10 minutes, and Mullin now gets a yellow card, I think for protesting that Cochrane hadn't had one. And certainly for dissent, so he's in the book as well. So that's 7 yellow cards all told, and 5 from that incident or a hangover from it. And play will restart for the free kick that was given away by Cochrane for the initial foul on Mullin. And it's played for by Cleworth out of the far touchline, helped on by O'Connell, one back by Willemsen, who's going down towards his own corner flag at a rate of knots. Little backheel flick from him, hits McLean, and right in front of the cop, goes off him and straight out of play for a throw, and the Blues fans love that. Wrexham will make a double change. Mendy coming on for his first league appearance of the season, the Gambian international left back, and he'll replace McLean. And the crowd give him a big send-off.
Yeah, it's going to be a long walk back round the pitch for him to the bench.
The other change will be a straight swap at right back, where Ryan Barnett is replaced by Seb Revan, who they signed from Villa. He was loaned to Rotherham last season, and he comes on. So right back and left back both changed. Revan for Barnett and Mendy for McLean. And that's Wrexham's 5 changes all made now. Birmingham play out from the back, leading by 3 goals to 1, and it's still comfortable in the extreme. time running out for Wrexham, 6.5 to go, but there's going to be a fair bit of stoppage time, particularly after that incident. You can expect at least 5 minutes, I would think. So probably 10, 11 minutes worth of playing time left. McLean still indulging in conversation with anyone who'll listen as he makes his way around the touchline. And there are hand gestures. He's now put his hands to his eyes, showing a fake pair of binoculars. One of the Wrexham officials is leading him round this near touchline. Can't accuse him of not caring at the age of 35, James McLean.
I think the phrase "he could start a fight in an empty room" is probably quite appropriate now.
And he's still going. And is indicating to the Birmingham fans behind the dugout here, you can't accuse him of not being brave, James McLean.
The problem is now as well with this ground, the changing rooms are actually behind the goal, so it's not like he can try and make a quick escape down the tunnel into the changing rooms, although, as you say, I don't think he really wants to. He just wants to carry on the conversation.
Yeah, he'll have opportunities to do that, because he's got to walk from, if we're at 6 o'clock and McLean is just in front of us, he's got to get himself to 2 o'clock at the end of the game, because that's where the tunnel for the Wrexham players is. Meanwhile, after an interesting little side note and cameo, it's back to the game, 3-1, 5 minutes to go. And Birmingham make their way forward again. Out he goes from Willemsen. An opportunity for Blues to deliver from the right flank is passed up by Samsted. It comes back instead for Paik. He plays in Iwata. Iwata 15 yards outside the box in a central position. Goes towards Anderson. Might open up for Anderson on his right foot. He's got Cochrane to his left. Cochrane goes back outside the penalty area for Iwata. The referee just has to take evasive action as the ball is tended for Mark Leonard. Now Cochrane's ball inside the penalty area is another great delivery. Headed away, bounces awkwardly inside the box, and Revan will be able to clear. And it comes outside the penalty area for Dobson, who just holds it up, feeds Revan, and Revan has done well. Round Anderson's challenge, round the second challenge as well. Down from Cannon. Cannon caught late by Bielik, and the referee might send him off. Second yellow card for Bielik, and Birmingham will see out the game with 10 men. And he can't have any complaints because he was in there late, missed time, maybe no malice, but it was a definite yellow card offence.
Yeah, it certainly was. There's no arguments from me there. Won't change the result of the game. I don't think it's going to take something massive, although you did mention we will have a fair amount of added time. But it's just silly. He's trying to stop the attack. He's probably not in the back of his mind that he's already on a caution. A bit late with the challenge, and now Birmingham City, they'll have a bit of defending to do.
Second red card that they've had this season. Dion Sanderson got the first in a match at Charlton, which Birmingham still won with 10 men. Change will be made immediately. They've got one substitution left, and they've got a centre-half on the bench. So Ben Davis will be coming on for his league debut for the club. The player is on loan from Rangers, the one-time Liverpool centre-half. And he'll be on in a moment. One of the attack-minded players will be sacrificed. Birmingham want to make the change as quickly as they can. They're actually going to be taking Iwata off. So Iwata off and Ben Davis on, and he'll slot in at centre-half alongside Clara for the 4 minutes plus stoppage time that remain. 3-1 Birmingham.
Yeah, and it's obviously the right thing to do, taking a more attacking player off. But I'm just watching Cochrane, and he was struggling. He went down with cramp in that little situation, so he's struggling physically. I didn't know whether they try and bring him off instead, but like you say, it's just in terms of now we're shoring up that defence and having as many defensive heads on the pitch and the experience as possible.
So Iwata leaves the field having scored 3-1, and just a little glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel here for Wrexham. 3-1 down, very little time to go, but they're a man up. Revan's cross inside the penalty area is headed away. Ball played down by O'Connor. It's a Seb Revan again, cutting onto his left foot outside the area and sending it across the edge of the box for Elliot Lee. Lee pulling it back. Mendy taking it on. Mendy from distance flies over the bar into the neutral section of the railway end, away to our right. Peacock Farrell, seeing it go, has a swig of a drink and then lends his bottle of the Clara, everything he can do to run a few seconds off the clock here ahead of the restart. 3-1 to Birmingham in the 89th minute.
I'm just watching the Birmingham City manager. I wish we could put a GPS and a heart rate monitor on him because he's so animated. He's really not stopped, and I feel like he's covered just as much ground as some of the players.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He is feeling it. It's something about McLean kicking every ball and still having the passion for the game at 35. And Chris Davis in just his 8th senior game as a manager. Still unbeaten in the league, and that record surely will be extended through to next weekend, where Blues go to Rotherham. They've then got Peterborough and Huddersfield at home, and then Charlton away. So all of the top 3 at the start of tonight over the space of 4 games. It's a big month this for Birmingham City. Wrexham for their part, Crawley at home next, and then away days at Orient and Stevenage. 3-1 to Birmingham City. 40 seconds plus, don't know, maybe 6, maybe 7 additional minutes to be prescribed. O'Connell, right-footed ball chipped over the top. Mendy's going to chase after this. He'll bring it down before he goes over the line for a goal kick. No, he can't quite. He flicked the ball and just went the wrong side of the corner flag, and out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Peacock Farrell. Birmingham 3, Wrexham 1 here on Talksport 2.
Well, it'll be a tough rest of the game in the added injury time with a player less, but can't fault Birmingham City. Aside from that first 10 or 15 minutes, they've got 7 minutes now, but they've been, for my money, by far the better team. They've looked fantastic going forward. They've done their defensive duties. They're doing things like this, and rightly so, managing the game, slowing it down when they needed to. They've showed a bit of everything tonight.
So into 7 minutes of added time. Peacock Farrell taking the goal kick, played forward by Mark Leonard. It's 3-1 to Birmingham, who will go second in the table. Wrexham would stay top if it stays this way on goal difference, but Birmingham will have a game in hand. Cannon getting involved firmly in the midfield. No foul on Paik, who just hobbles away. He's going to be all right. Cochrane is okay as well. Courtney alluding to the fact that he was struggling with cramp earlier. Wrexham on the front foot, midway inside Birmingham territory. Over on the far side, Tom O'Connor trying to get the ball towards centre-half partner O'Connell. It was almost a hospital pass. O'Connell did get there first. He tried to release Revan, but he's made his run from an offside position. And it's a free kick to Birmingham City on the edge of their own penalty area for the offside. And Peacock Farrell is going in full distraction mode now to waste the seconds. A free kick that he will take, and 6 minutes of added time to go.
Well, Jim, you mentioned what it will do to the table. I'm wondering mentally what this will do to Wrexham. Psychologically, how do they bounce back from this? They've been totally outclassed by this Birmingham City side, so they've got to find a way to get over that very quickly.
Now, the reality is that this is not an unexpected result. I mean, Birmingham were odds on tonight, and there's so much more pressure on Birmingham to get out of the division this season than there is Wrexham. For any side to win 3 consecutive promotions would be not an unparalleled feat, but an extraordinary one. So no pressure on Wrexham in the same way that there is massive pressure on Birmingham. This their first season down for 30 years. Wrexham on the front foot here. Cleworth down towards the right-hand side for Revan, and Wrexham, if it stays this way, remember, will still be top of the table. Revan trying to play in Cannon on the overlap on the right-hand side of the box, a little bit too firm with the pass, and it's gone over the line. And Peacock Farrell will just bend down in front of the blue electronic hoardings away to our right and retrieve the ball, and then walk to the opposite corner of the 6-yard box before spotting it down and taking the goal kick. 4.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. 10-man Birmingham leading by 3-1 here on Talksport 2. And a reminder tomorrow, 3 live games for you. Aston Villa in Switzerland to take on Young Boys Bern. 5:45 here on Talksport 2. Their first game in the European Cup for more than 40 years. And then it's followed by Manchester United beginning their Carabao Cup campaign. They take on Barnsley. And on Talksport tomorrow night, kicking off at 8, Liverpool at the San Siro away to AC Milan. 4 minutes to go tonight in this League One epic. 3-1 Birmingham City leader. Cleworth down towards Revan. Revan coming in off the right flank into the feet of Andy Cannon. Back for Revan again. And now from him to O'Connell. O'Connell through the centre circle to Dobson. On the left-hand side of the midfield, it's O'Connor that can make his way forward. Good skill by Mendy to get the ball in. Potential for Mullin to try and turn. He's got blue shirts all around him who's almost able to set up Lee. It's half clear for Cannon on the edge of the penalty area. Can he get a shot in? Round the first challenge. Chips it down towards Revan, who's got to get the skates on to keep it in. And that's a battle that he's lost. Just looked as though for a moment he was going to fall Mullin's way inside the penalty area, but it didn't quite. And Birmingham survived.
Yeah, his first touch was good, and you see he's trying to swivel and get the shot off. He does, and he's blocked off at every avenue. I think when that comes to Andy Cannon as well, instead of trying to play that out wide, I think he can have a go on his left foot, but I just don't think he wants to obviously try and hit it on his left foot, plays it out wide, and after that you're only fighting a losing battle. I think is it Cochrane again that's down? No, it's not Cochrane, it's someone else that's struggling with a little bit of cramp as well, but that shows physically the amount that Birmingham City have put into this game.
It's Clara who was down. I wonder whether, cynically, that's just a bit to disrupt the flow of the game as much as anything else at this stage. Loose crossfield ball from Dobson, but it's still going to be retrieved over on the Wrexham left-hand side. Back for Lee, who survives the stumble, takes it on towards the edge of the penalty area, threads it through, then gets it back. Right-footed effort, saved by Peacock Farrell, diving to his left.
It's one of the only saves I can remember Peacock Farrell of note having to make, and that's what Lee does so well normally, but we've not seen it from him this game, advancing from midfield, arriving at the right time. It's a decent strike, but it's nothing that should really bother Peacock Farrell, and gladly collects it and just tries to waste a few more seconds.
Yeah, it's Wrexham's unbeaten run that's going to come to an end tonight. Fletcher's given a free kick away, and the 10 men of Birmingham City only have 90 seconds to protect this 2-goal lead. And this will be a 4th straight league win for Blues. And they haven't won 4 league games in a row since October 2018. So just a couple of weeks short of 6 years since they last managed it. Well, this is a significant scalp, albeit that it'll still be Wrexham top of the table tonight. Blues just behind them with a game in hand if it stays this way, and there's no sign with a minute of stoppage time to go that it isn't going to. Throw to Wrexham, but they're inside their own half, trailing by 3-1. They haven't really had too many moments where it looks as though they're going to be able to make the numerical advantage count. Okonkwo at the back, plays it out. Cleworth. And Cleworth with a long ball forward out towards the far touchline. Fletcher holding it up, feeds Mendy. Lee will come onto it. Lee outside the penalty area, into the feet of Stephen Fletcher again with his back to the direction of play. He's recycled it out to the left-hand side of the box. Lee will take over. Lee with another good little turn. Wrexham's number 38, the speculative effort. Peacock Farrell with a dive for the cameras, knowing that it was high and wide, out of play, and Birmingham are going to win this 3-1.
Yeah, they are, and I don't mind that from Lee, and it's just a shame that for whatever reason Wrexham didn't show that endeavour a bit earlier in the game to try and get themselves back in it. It's easy to say when Birmingham are down to 10 men and you can flood bodies forward because you know you've got nothing to lose, but I just think if they'd have changed that mindset slightly earlier, maybe made some changes, Wrexham, some substitutes earlier, that it might be a little bit different.
Long clearance comes from Peacock Farrell, headed away by O'Connell, headed back through the midfield by Willemsen. Mendy will play it forward. The crowd will let you know when the full-time whistle goes, and it's any second. O'Connell's got it. He's inside his own half. Plays it forward, and that'll do. Wrexham stay top, but Birmingham right behind them with a game in hand. A League One match with a sprinkling of Hollywood stardust, but it's Birmingham and the Brady bunch that have got over the line. Poor start from them. They hit back well. Jay Stansfield, the most expensive player ever to feature in a League One game, scoring once in each half. Iwata, on his league debut for the club, added a third. The better side won this. An epic encounter has finished Birmingham 3, Wrexham 1.
What a big night for Birmingham City. Wrexham stay top of League One, but Birmingham remain unbeaten. They're in second. The team separated by just 2 goals on goal difference, but the Blues do have a game in hand. Wrexham host Crawley on Saturday, Birmingham away at Rotherham. But as we look up to the stands, we see Tom Brady and Tom Wagner embrace one another, delighted with the victory. They're the superstars who come out on top in the Hollywood derby, and it's a big night for Chris Davis and his Birmingham City players as well. Courtney Sweetman, Kurt, just how big a win could that be? Could tonight really be in terms of building the confidence of this team and this football club?
Yeah, it's obviously massive for confidence because Wrexham are one of the unbeaten, well, not anymore, but they were one of the unbeaten sides in the league. So to go top of the not top of the table, but go equal on points with a game in hand, and that potential at some point to go top of the table for Birmingham City is massive. I was very impressed with them at the way they played. Obviously it's so early in the season, so for me there's no way that this defines either team. There's still a long way to go, but in terms of a performance against the side that have looked good in the early part of the season, so I've mentioned it, Birmingham City totally dominated. They totally outclassed Wrexham, and I know there's context to that in terms of the money spent, but I mentioned it psychologically. What does this do to this Wrexham side? Because I've been there as a player, and you can't contextualise at the time. You can know that certain teams have got bigger budgets, but it's difficult because all you feel at that time is the pain and the hurt of not being anywhere near a team. So I'll be very interested to watch how Wrexham bounce back from that, and from Birmingham City. If they play like that most weeks, then more often than not they're going to come out winners. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. The second goal of the game for Birmingham City once again came from Jay Stanfield. Lovely calm header, but it was a beautiful cross from the left from Alex Cochrane. Lovely take though from Stanfield in the end.
Yeah, it was a beautiful ball, and it's got all the pace. It just faded away at the end, so the way that it's curling, it brings it away from the defenders and the goalkeeper. Like you say, Stansfield still has a lot to do, but does it impeccably. As you're taught as a young forward, head it back across the goal, use the pace on the ball, head it back where it's come from. Does exactly that, and I was gutted for him that he got took off with not having the opportunity to get his hat-trick. But it's going to be a long season, and I suppose when you look at it from the manager's perspective, he's trying to protect him and put him in bubble wrap, which I totally understand.
And the game was won, sealed 7 minutes later. Tomoki Iwata with his first goal in English football. What a goal it was as well.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and for my money, I mean, there's quite a few to choose on that Birmingham City side, but Iwata was probably the best player on the pitch. He was so lively. His physicality and his fitness is absolutely incredible. He was everywhere, and then to have obviously the technical ability to score a goal like that just puts the cherry on the top.
What did you make of Wrexham in the end? I know you say neither side is defined by tonight, but Phil Parkinson has to take some big learnings from tonight. What do you think he will learn about his team?
Well, for me, I was really surprised with the lack of change sort of in the early part of the second half. They came out in the second half, nothing changed, still went into the deep block, still invited the pressure. Then it took a while for the substitutes to come, and later on in the game they tweaked it a little bit, brought more substitutes on, and the likes of Revan, for example, and Mendy made a little bit of a difference. Obviously the Birmingham going down to 10 obviously invited more pressure onto them, but I was really surprised that something wasn't changed earlier tactically. It was, what's that saying about insanity, is the thing of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, and that's what I saw from Wrexham for the first 60-65 minutes. They were doing the same thing and nothing was changing. So I think obviously Phil Parkinson is a very experienced manager. He will reflect on that as himself, as do the players, because they have a responsibility on the pitch to try and make something happen. But there was a lack of a change in and an adaptation in that Wrexham side for me when it was needed.
Absolutely, they'll need to bounce back soon. They'll need to invent a plan B very soon as well. Just on Christian Bielik, he's going to miss the trip to Rotherham at the weekend. Silly second yellow card. But Birmingham have an incredibly important run of fixtures here now. They're away at Rotherham at the weekend, at home to Peterborough. They then host Huddersfield and go to Charlton. Teams all at the top end of the table. We expect them to be there towards the closing stages of the season as well as. But if they can go through a really positive run here, it will set the tone in terms of them really being the team to beat in League One.
Totally agree. It doesn't define them still. I think it's a bit too early to say that, but you're right. I couldn't have put it better myself in terms of it sets the tone for who they are, where they want to be in the league, their style of play, which we're continuing. We'll still see an adaptation because at times when it was on, they went a bit longer today, Birmingham, and rightly so because of the way that the Wrexham shape at times was dislodged, and there was that opportunity for Stansfield to run through the middle and be a bit direct. So yeah, it's an important run of fixtures. It's not the definition of their season by any means, but for their confidence, as you say, with teams all in the top half, if they can go to them teams and whether it be getting just a point or bringing the 3 points home, I think it's important for confidence because we're still so early on in the tenure, and the change in the style of play is night and day. It's incredible, and I was looking at the stats in terms of they've gone from an average possession last season of about 42% so far to 70 odd. So it's still a work in progress, and it looks fantastic, but I think we still have to appreciate that it's very much a work in progress. But I tell you what, it looks good at the moment.
Looks absolutely sensational at the moment for Birmingham City. If you look at the end of the evening stats, they had 68% possession, 8 shots in the game, 3 big chances. 6 of their shots were on target, by the way, in the end, and they managed to limit Wrexham almost entirely in that game as well. Just 5 shots for them, apart from the goal, never truly threatened as well. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, Jim Proudfoot, thank you so much for being with us this evening. A big evening for Birmingham City, and they are all smiles in front of 31,000 at St Andrews tonight. By the way,